musiquita. A ver. Vamos allá. Otro día más para darle un poquito a esto, ¿vale? A la Noire. Vamos a ir con el caso del departamento de homicidios, ¿vale? El caso de la media de seda. Obviamente, antes de empezar cualquier caso, cuando me voy siempre lo dejo para empezar el siguiente caso. Es decir, lo que vais a ver aquí es el caso desde el inicio, ¿vale? A ver, dicho esto, un segundito, ¿eh? El caso de la media de seda.
Phelps. I was just discussing with Finbar here how well you were doing. Have a seat.
Yeah, my real name. You can just forget all about it.
You boys have a new case. A poor Hispanic woman murdered near City Hall and left lying naked in an alleyway.
Otra mujer
Another
desnuda.
naked woman, sir?
Yes.
Pues sí.
We seem to have had quite a run of them since the Dahlia fiend first struck.
Phelps is politely trying to hint that he thinks the Mendez case is hokey.
Well, young Phelps, you win some and you lose some in police work.
Claro.
You're happy with the Mueller case, sir?
Over the moon, boys! The DA couldn't be more pleased with the evidence, the witness, and the lack of an alibi. Now, get out there and catch me another sinner.
Quiere decir que en el caso anterior, realmente el asesino sí pudo ser el de la Dahlia Negra, ¿vale? Pero lo camufló también que incriminó a otra persona. Y como esa persona no tenía una defensa, una coartada correcta, pues se lo ha comido. Básicamente. Me quiero apuntar ahí. Quiero ver qué hay por aquí, ¿vale? Antes de nada. Vale, tenemos otro crimen callejero. Vamos a ir ahí antes que allí, ¿vale? Los crímenes callejeros hay que hacerlos, ¿vale? A este le vamos a decir que conduzca y que nos lleve al crimen callejero. Él solito, que nos lleve. Ahí escucháis la radio, ¿vale? Porque cada vez que se acerca a la zona donde hay problemas, un crimen callejero, pues nos aparece la radio como de pidiendo ayuda, algún agente que esté por la ronda, o sea, por la zona, en ronda o lo que sea, ¿vale? Atraco a un banco. Atraco al banco pone. ¿Qué vamos a hacer? Vamos a coger un arma buena del... Tiene metralleta. Yo no puedo ir a pistola. Yo quiero otra metralleta. Una Thompson de esa o algo así. De los Gangsters. Vale, en cuanto me permitan, yo me voy a ir al coche y voy a coger un arma. ¿Qué arma voy a coger? Pues oye, esta. Nada, voy a coger esta. Y ahora sí que sí. Vale, ahora con este arma, mira, se acaban de cargar un pori ahí. Aquí me ha dicho, ¿vale? Lo que se nos sabe es que le vamos a dar nosotros a él. Puta, me ha dado. Arriba habrá alguno, seguramente por ahí. Vale, sin munición. No importa realmente, ¿vale? Cuidado con ese, que llega otra Thompson. Lo tenemos, ¿vale? Ahora, dicho esto, vamos a coger este arma y la vamos a utilizar, ¿vale? Usa el ascensor para investigar la cámara.
They blocked the goddamn stairs. Detective, take the elevator.
All right, I'll wait
Vale,
here.
pues nada, nos vamos al ascensor.
Don't give them
Voy a
a
bajar
chance
aquí
to
porque
get
veo el
through.
reflejo, ¿vale? Del sol y no me gusta nada ver el reflejo del sol en mis pantallas, ¿vale? Prefiero así. Porque sé que de día hace un día que te cagas de sol, hace un día espléndido.
Buddy's upstairs.
Lo
up
prefiero
there.
así, ¿vale?
That leaves you, pal.
Qué escopetazo me ha dado el hijo de puta. Vamos a coger la escopeta, ¿vale? Me ha dado, ¿eh? Me ha dado. Hueputa. Qué tiro en el pecho, joder. Vale, empezamos con un atraco al banco. Muertos todos. De bien. Me han dado algún disparo que otro. No he muerto. Por suerte.
Car 11K. Shots fired, suspects are down.
Nos vamos a cambiar el traje, ¿vale?
Bank of America, 7th and Olive. Notify coroner and detective headquarters.
Vale, dicho esto, vamos a cambiar el traje, nos vamos a poner otro en cuanto pueda, ¿vale? Vale, trajes. Vamos a usar este, tirador certero, ¿vale? Y ahora este que nos lleve.
You can drive. Galloway, I need
A
you.
moverlo, güey.
Hold on, I'm coming.
Visita, por favor.
You have the address?
It's the alley off.
Es un callejón en el Aliso, entre Los Ángeles y Alameda.
You're kidding. The next one
Venga
will be
ya,
opposite
la
Central
próxima va a
Station.
aparecer enfrente a la comisaría central.
Most guys would kill to land a case so close to their desk.
Yeah, it means they can pop in to hit the office supply of hooch whenever they need it.
You know, that ain't a bad idea. That is not a bad idea at all, folks.
Vale, chavalito, vamos allá. Empieza el caso de la media de seda. ¿Vale? Escenario del crimen, 1 de la tarde.
Detectives, they're ready to start the show. I'll take you through.
Otra tía muerta, desnuda, tirada en mitad de la calle, tío.
Oh, for Christ's sake. Brothers, Pinker.
Carrocero y
Cause
Pinkers.
of death is pretty
La
apparent.
causa de la muerte está clara, aunque decidimos que era mejor esperar.
When you're ready.
Cuando queráis. Vale. Ahora mismo no vamos a mirar eso. Lo primero, esta es la media de seda, ensangrentada, ¿vale?
If she took a blow to the head like the others, she was probably unconscious when strangled.
Vale, vamos a seguir buscando. Aquí hay una caja de tabaco, por lo que se ve. Y eso no sé lo que cojones es, la verdad. Esta es circunstancial. Allí hay algo más. Vamos a verlo. Esto es... no parece relativamente importante. Este es un vaso de café, digamos. Aplastado. Vale. Vamos a buscar más cositas, porque mira, hay un rastro de sangre que va hacia allí, hacia las cajas, y allí hay otra cosa, ¿vale? Hay una especie de sombrero o algo así, no sé lo que es. Vamos a seguir el rastro. Es que es lo que es, ¿vale? Antonio. Antonio.
It's a start.
Vale, es un comienzo. En la pared, la puerta hay sangre y el rastro sigue hacia allí. Vamos a investigar primero a la mujer, ¿vale? A la víctima. A ver qué nos encontramos, ¿vale? Uf, le han degollado. Uf, qué raro. Librería pública, no sé qué, Antonia, vale, número 66. 7 de julio de 1926. Aún tenía 21 años, ¿sabes? No hay nada por detrás, ¿no? Vale. Besa la sangre, DN. Kiss the blood, BD. BD es DN en realidad, ¿vale? Dalia negra. Uf, mirad el dedo con la piel arrancada. Haberle arrancado un anillo, chaval.
Skin under the fingernails.
No tiene piel debajo de la uña, aunque sí que las tiene partidas, ¿vale? De haberse defendido, pero claro, no... Ha saltado un chorro de sangre. Las laterales en el cuello y un biz. Vale, un fuerte forcejeo. Mira cómo cruje. Ah, zapata madre.
The evidence in the Mueller case was solid. I'm not convinced about Mendez.
The best way to get away with murder is to pin it on somebody else.
Efectivamente, eso es lo que he dicho al principio, ¿vale?
Strangled, battered,
Si le imputas tu crimen a otro, realmente van a detener a ese otro y el crimen lo dan por cerrado, ¿entendéis? Es la mejor forma de librarte de él, realmente.
Four women, all murdered,
Para un
all
asesino en
put on
serie.
display, all with messages.
Mueller had no message. Look, Phelps, this is getting us nowhere.
Anything for us to go on, Mal?
Head injuries from contact with road, bruising from a small man's shoe, further blunt force trauma to the occipital region at the base of the skull. Could have been fatal, but clear signs of strangulation would seem to rule it out.
Claro.
That stick appears to be a similar color to the other cases. I'll see if I can nail down a brand.
Vale. Vamos a ver si hay algo más que buscar, ¿vale? Algo que no sea meramente circunstancial, como esto, que es alcohol, y eso meramente circunstancial. Vamos a seguir el rastro de sangre, ¿vale? No veas, ¿eh? Qué puta locura. El rastro de sangre que lleva por aquí, ¿vale? Y sigue hacia allí. Es decir, seguramente le atacaron por esta zona, ¿vale? O la apuñalaron por esta zona la primera vez, no sé, ¿vale? Lo vamos a ir viendo. Vale, mirad. Aquí hay un zapato. Nah, esto es de de esto. Miss Vivienne.
Plus the bloodstains. No way is this coincidence.
Obviamente no es una coincidencia. Y más sangre, ¿vale? Vamos a seguir buscando porque viene por aquí el rastro. Vamos a seguirlo porque puede ser que haya más cosas, ¿vale?
On it goes.
El tío no puede decir que ha perdido sangre.
We kept the area pristine for you boys. Let's check it out.
Ok. Aquí hay algo de mosquil. En plan de mosquito. De mosquito, digamos. ¿Vale? Más varillas de esas. Por aquí hay más cositas, hay más sangre. Aquí hay algo, ¿vale? Colgado. Una llave. Tenemos una llave, ¿vale? Con el número 5.
House keys strung up like bait on a hook.
Pues sí, seguramente fuese un anzuelo a ella.
Probably all the way to City Hall, that brazen son of a bitch.
Y aquí hay algo también, al lado de esta mancha de sangre, ¿vale? Una nota, un papel. Esto es un diagrama. 253. 253. No sé si os dirá algo esto, pero a mí personalmente no me dice nada, ¿vale? Ah, espera, que hay más sangre. Voy a subir, ¿eh? Voy a subir porque hay rastro de sangre hacia arriba. Hay una mano ahí. Y tiene pinta de que eso sea del asesino. Así que vamos allá, ¿vale? Vamos a subir. Más sangre ahí. Más sangre aquí. Aquí hay más sangre nuevamente. Y aquí hay palomar. Aquí hay una especie de palomar. Vale, vamos a ver aquí primero, ¿vale? Aquí hay un martillo. Hay unos alicates. Circunstancial, ¿vale? Esto no es algo que sea relevante para el caso. Vamos a seguir mirando por atrás. Por aquí nada. Mira, en el palomar hay sangre a la salida, o sea que por aquí sigue el rastro. Vamos a entrar aquí al palomar este. Aquí hay otra nota. Mr. A. Maldonado. We dunk. A ver, abrimos la cartita. La cartita está vacía, ¿vale? Señora Antonio Maldonado. Podría ser, sí, porque era Antonio. Ella. Carta compa, Galloway.
There you go, Phelps. We got a new MO. I told you it wasn't our guy.
Aquí hay algo más. No se lo ve, la verdad. ¿Puedo abrir? Ah, maquillajes.
Enameled and gold-plated. This was precious to her.
Okay. Esto le tenía cariño por lo que se ve. Vale, como veis el rastro sigue subiendo, ¿vale? Hacia arriba. Vale, ha ido por los tubos. Así que vamos a seguir el rastro. Hay más sangre. Aquí hay otra cosa, ¿vale? Aquí hay algo más colgado. El anillo, loco. Se la quitó el dedo y la colgó aquí. ¿Qué significará? Es raro. Cuanto menos, ¿vale? Por aquí sigue subiendo. Vamos a subir. Aquí hay una brocha. Lo que pasa es que no sé yo si es... aquí. Parece que el asesino se ha dedicado a decorar con esto. Posiblemente sea sangre de la víctima, ¿vale? Y haya pintado color. No me pita, gilipollas. Y aquí hay otro bolso. Vamos a abrirle. Aquí está la otra parte del ticket.
Son of a bitch wants her identified. Mrs. Antonia Maldonado, 712 North Hill Street, downtown.
Ya tenemos la habitación, la dirección de ella. A ver qué pasa. Vale, volvemos abajo. Residencia de Antonia, chavales. Vamos a ir a su casa a ver qué encontramos. ¿Vale?
It was Mrs. Maldonado, right?
That's affirmative.
All right, so then there's a husband we should be looking for. Get him, we've closed the case.
Este siempre queriendo acusar a los maridos, ¿sabes? Por culpa de policías como el competente este de Galloway, pues eso es lo que pasa. Él va a encerrar al marido, encerrar al marido, encerrar al marido, en vez de investigar a fondo lo que realmente ha pasado y buscar el verdadero culpable del asunto. Por cierto, no sé si hay alguien viendo, que sepáis que para participar en el chat debéis ser seguidores. Así filtro un poquito, ¿vale? De la gente que viene a decir soplapolleces, ¿vale? Hay gente que viene a decir soplapolleces, entonces por eso he puesto el chat en modo seguidores, ¿vale? Sepáis. Vale, ya estamos en la casa de la Antonia. Vamos a ir adentro a ver qué pasa. Espera un momento. Es una abuela, ¿no? Parece. Sí.
LAPD, ma'am. Detective Phelps and Galloway. Does Mrs. Maldonado live here?
Yes, she does. I'm Mrs. Barbara LaPente, the owner of this boarding house. Is there a problem?
I'm afraid so, ma'am. Do you mind if we come in? Is there somewhere we can discuss this?
Of course. Follow me through to the parlor.
Vamos para el salón, pues.
Wipe your feet as you come in, detectives. It's this way.
Mrs. Maldonado was found dead this morning.
Dead? Oh, no. She can't be.
I'm afraid she was murdered, ma'am. We need to take a look at her things.
I can't believe it. A person seems so alive, and then they're gone.
A ver, no muere, lo han matado, joder.
Antonia's room is upstairs.
Vale, pues ahora vengo.
Last door on the left.
Arriba la última a la izquierda.
I'll be back shortly.
Excuse us a moment, ma'am. Hey, Cole, get moving.
Y yo arriba, hijo de puta.
Too slow, Rusty.
Yeah, as soon as I'm finished.
Habitación número 5. Vale, la ventana está rota. Hay un tubo detrás, ¿vale? Eso lo vamos a tener que investigar bien. Aquí hay otra carta. Ok. Sí que sí. Y eso ya lo sé. Yo lo que creo que es ahí dentro algo. Señor Antonio Isabel Maldonado. Prison Boarding House. Vale, ya tenemos también la dirección del marido, ¿vale?
Okay, we have an address.
Ángel Maldonado. Ya tenemos la dirección del marido. Ángel Maldonado. Esta foto de ella y su marido. Vale, tiene una pulsera y el
Charm
anillo.
bracelet wasn't among the
Solita,
crime
¿la
scene
veis?
evidence.
Me gustaría salir fuera. No bajes, gilipollas. ¿Cómo salgo afuera, tío? Porque afuera he visto algo. A través de la ventana. ¿Veis? Vale, pues voy a salir al patio a ver si... Fíjate. Sí, no. Deprisa, por favor.
Galloway, I need you.
Keep your shirt on, I'm coming.
Coño. Pones. A ver. Voy a montarme solo por ver si este bloque lo tengo bloqueado o no, ¿vale? Simplemente. Vale, lo tenía bloqueado este coche, ¿vale? Ya no. Ya está desbloqueado, ¿vale? Hay que ir desbloqueando coches, chavales. Por completar full, ¿vale? Vale, como vemos... Aquí tenemos esto.
So someone broke in using this thing instead of a crowbar. Wonder where it was taken from.
¿De dónde ha salido? A ver. Pero es un tubo de hierro, vaya. Puede haber salido de cualquier sitio. Vale, pues eso ya está investigado. Vamos a volver a hablar con la viejecita esta, ¿vale? A ver qué nos cuenta la señora. Vaya señora, yo estoy por aquí. Vamos a
We
hablar.
have some questions, ma'am, if you're up to it.
Yes, detective. I'll do my best.
Muy bien. Sospechoso.
Do you have any idea who might have wanted to hurt Mrs. Maldonado?
That rat of her husband.
La rata de su marido. Ángel.
She was serving him divorce papers.
If I killed every wife that served me papers, I'd be a mass murderer.
Are you being flippant, young man?
No, ma'am.
Vamos a decir que es verdad. No tiene motivos para mentir tampoco.
She married him when she was 17. He was cruel to her, very cruel. She was a good girl, little on the religious side, but a good girl.
Acertada. Movimientos de la víctima.
What time did Antonia go out yesterday?
She left around 9.
Do you know where she went?
No, I have no idea. She was a good girl, but she didn't confide in me.
No me lo creo.
A nosy old hag like you knows everything about the people who live under her roof. Where did she go?
I think she went to a bar.
Un bar.
She's been drinking quite a lot.
Últimamente
Does
bebía
the bar
mucho.
have a name?
El Dorado
En
Bar.
El Dorado. Ok.
It's a Latino place on North Los Angeles Street.
That's only a couple of
Okay.
blocks from where we found the body.
Pruebas de allanamiento, es decir, la ventana rota y eso, ¿vale?
No, that can't be true.
Vamos a usar la intuición. Pero no aquí. En otro caso, creo que es mentira realmente, porque está ahí ella como muy afectada, pero yo personalmente creo que es mentira, porque está la ventana rota.
The truth, Mrs. Lepenti. What do you have to hide?
I have no idea what you are talking about.
Vale, pues vamos a poner la ventana rota. A ver si es verdad que no tienen ni idea. ¿Vale?
So Antonia lost her keys and used an iron bar to jimmy the back window?
I heard a noise in the early hours of the morning. I thought it might be a raccoon at the milk bottles. It'd be very bad for business if this news got out. I have a reputation to protect.
Hija de puta. Ruptura matrimonial.
Antonia and her husband were estranged?
Yes. She moved here after she separated from her husband 2 months ago.
But Antonia still wore a wedding ring?
La pulsera es lo que me
She wore a
extraña.
wedding ring
Y un
and a
collar.
necklace. She always wore a religious
Y la
necklace.
pulsera,
That's about all of her jewelry.
yo creo que se la quiere quedar. La voy a acusar de mentirosa.
What about
Yo
her
creo que se la
bracelet?
quiere quedar.
I don't know anything about a bracelet.
In her wedding photo, she's displaying a charm bracelet.
That thing? She never wore it. He gave it to her. She always kept it in that wooden jewelry box.
Thanks, ma'am. You've been very helpful.
Vale, 4 de 4,
May have told
correcta.
that husband of hers, lock him up and throw away the key.
We can
Vale.
either front Angel,
Uy, coño.
seeing as the finger's pointing
El
right
juego
in,
sin querer.
or check out the El Dorado one.
Ahora yo debo de decidir a qué sitio voy. Es decir, tengo que decidir si bien voy a la residencia de los Maldonados, es decir, a ver al hombre, o al bar. ¿Vale? Voy a ir a la residencia de los Maldonados primero. ¿Por qué? Porque si ha sido el marido, pues obviamente querrá escapar, ¿vale? Así que vamos a ir. Mira, viene en orden, así que vamos a ir primero aquí. A ver, mapa. Vamos a ir a esto primero, que nos lleve el compi.
Can you drive to this one? Double time, Rusty.
Vamos, hombre, tarda un montón. Vale, vamos a ir a otro caso. Entre medias del caso de homicidio, vamos a ir a otro caso de crimen callejero. A ver qué pasa. Lo mismo es un tiroteo, lo mismo no. No lo sabemos, ¿vale? Vamos a verlo.
This is car 11K. We'll handle the 211.
That 11K, your 211 is at 391 Broadway, Mallory's Cafe, 11K, handle code 3.
A la mierda, Poli, no me voy a rendir sin luchar, ¿vale? Pues te pego un tiro en la cara y se acabó. ¡No! ¿Qué haces, gilipollas? ¿Cómo te asomas así? Ha salido a correr. Lo tengo, ese es mío. Tengo que disparar al aire para ver si se rinde, ¿vale? A ver si lo consigo. Le he dado, ¿eh? Le he dado. Le he dado un tiro. ¿Ha saltado el hijo puta? Yo también. Me gustaría detenerlo en vez de matarlo, pero... no sé si se va a poder, ¿eh? También lo digo. Joder, me llevo muchísima ventaja el cabrón. Ese se ha escondido ahí. ¿Veis que está parado? ¡Su puta madre! Más por culo. En el ojo, chaval. Dios, la última bala. ¿No habéis visto cómo se ha quedado la corredera hacia atrás, tío? Con la última bala lo he matado. De un disparo en el ojo. Hijo de puta.
This is car 11 King. Advise all units that the 211 from Mallory's Cafe is code 4, KGPL.
Lo tenemos. Vale, ahora vamos a ir a la casa del Maldonado.
You know the way. You can drive.
14 de 40. Crímenes callejeros, ¿vale? Otro rango más.
A nosy old
Esto.
hag? Ah! And I thought I was coming on strong with the ex-wives line.
Sometimes you have to be firm to get the information you need.
God damn it, ain't that the truth?
Vale, vamos a ver qué pasa en la residencia de Maldonado. Lo mismo lo tenemos que detener, lo mismo no. No tengo ni idea. Depende también de lo que encontremos y cómo reaccione el tipo también. ¿Ok? Maldonado.
Maldonado,
304.
apartment 304.
Vale, pues será en el tercer piso, me imagino.
Phelps, this could turn ugly. Forget about knocking.
Olvídate de llamar. Ojo, ¿eh?
Hey, what the fuck? LAPD, motherfucker, you're under arrest.
Ojo que hay otro ahí, ¿eh? Pues nada, puñetaza se llama esto. Caca. Te engancho y te golpeo. Puta. Hijo de puta. Calvito. Cógelo. ¡Sí! Vamos. Se ha pegado con el pico de la mesa en la cara, ¿eh?
Damn. They got some decent shots in there.
Sí, te han dado.
Cuff these sons of bitches, Phelps.
LAPD, you two are under arrest. Call for some backup, Finbar.
Finbar, ya la he llamado Finbar.
Galloway, badge number 564. I need a prowl car at the apartment building 330 North Hill Street. 2 suspects need transporting to Central.
Your wife has been murdered, Angel.
Antonia? Oh God, no!
Where were you last
Yo
night?
realmente no creo que haya sido el marido, en verdad, ¿eh?
I was here with my brother the whole night, God damn it! You think I'd kill my own wife?
Personalmente,
The whole place is going over.
pienso que no ha sido él, ¿vale? A ver lo que dicen las pruebas también, que sea.
I don't care that you just got smacked in the head. You don't call me
No hay
Finn.
nada, cállate. No me llames Finbar, tío. ¿Cuál es tu nombre? Leo. A ver qué es esto.
I don't think so.
No parece una apuesta. De 5 a 11. Frutería Just Picket, ¿vale? En
Just
Chinatown.
pick fruit.
¿Los puedes abrir, por favor? Aquí
I
tiene
wonder if Angel gets all his groceries from this place.
vino, que seguramente sea ilegal, perdón. Y hay unas cerillas de El Dorado. El bar, ¿ok? Vimos. Ahí tenemos la dirección del Dorado, ¿vale? Del bar.
The El Dorado must be a family favorite.
¿Vale? Sangre en una camiseta. Ojo,
This will take some explaining.
No hay tampoco mucho más, ¿eh?
Maybe one of the neighbors took notice of Angel's movements. He's got no alibi. He's toast.
Yo creo que ya estaría todo, ¿eh? Sinceramente. No hay mucho aquí por mirar. Puesto con sombrero, gilipollas.
What do you want?
LAPD. We're making some inquiries.
Make it quick. I work nights.
So you weren't home last night?
No, I was at work.
You know nothing about Mrs. Maldonado fighting with her husband?
Those two? They're always screaming the place down.
Thanks.
Vale, viene bien saberlo. Vamos a ir tocándole a todos. A ver si hay alguien que sí que responda, alguien que no. Que te...
Sorry about that. I'm playing with my kids.
LAPD. Were you here last night?
Yeah. My wife and I are separated, and I had the kids last night. I put them to bed early and went to bed myself.
Thanks.
Entonces tampoco toca. No hay nadie. Ah, sí.
Hello.
LAPD, ma'am. Did you hear a disturbance last night?
Yes. Yes, I did. Mrs. Maldonado lit out of here, and her husband ran out after her.
You saw this, Miss?
Aranda. I had the door open a crack.
Did you see
Sí,
Mr.
como que estaba
Maldonado come
goleando.
back inside after he
Goleadora.
ran out?
No. I didn't.
Thanks. We'll be in touch.
Portada del marido, ojo,
I kept thinking you were going to call that one a nosy old hag too, Phelps. Well executed restraint.
Vale, yo creo que aquí
Executing restraint right now, Finbar.
lo tenemos todo hecho, ¿vale? Me parece. No, no, no. Ahí no está tu coche. Está allí. Carajote. ¿Cómo? Ah, vale, vale. Su capitán es lo de... Vale, no he dicho nada. Ahora deberíamos de ir a comisaría.
You drive. I need to go over the case notes.
Frutería Just Picket. No sé dónde ir, tío. Al bar El Dorado. Vamos a ir al bar El Dorado, tío, porque creo que hay algo que se me escapa, ¿vale?
Where are we headed?
Que me lleve.
You're behind the wheel.
And where exactly are we going?
Over here, Rusty.
Vamos, Rusty.
Keep your shirt on.
Vale, parece ser que hay otro caso de... Vamos a ir primero a resolver el caso ese, ¿vale? Callejero. Vamos que me piro, loco.
Too slow, Rusty.
KGPL, 11 King, over.
11K, Captain Donnelly and Detective Sergeant Dennis Brown.
Hostia, por la vía del tren. Bueno, pues ya está, ya me he metido.
11K, en route.
You don't think it's strange that all these murders are happening to girls who've been out drinking?
No. A broad drinks, she gets a bit tight, she starts mouthing off. This leads to that, and she ends up in an alley.
Me sienta a la derecha, ¿vale?
This town's seen it play out 1,000 times, Cole.
Why don't you want to see a connection here?
Because there are perfectly good real-life suspects for every one of these murders. We don't need to...
All units also needs help. 415 and shots fired. 313 Bunker Hill Avenue. 313 Bunker Hill Avenue. Unit to handle code 3 identified.
This is 11K. We'll handle the 415.
Why don't you come on out, Jimmy? I won't let them hurt you. Not my honey boy.
I told you not to call me that, woman. Now shut the hell up.
¿Qué coño?
Shut the hell up.
Está disparándole con una escopeta, ¿eh?
It's a nice story. Two old lovebirds just moved in together, but they had a falling out, and he chased her across the yard with a 12 gauge. Now it's him or us.
Pues sí. Tú lo has dicho. Me lo voy a cargar y a tomar por el culo.
Let him have it.
¡Coño! Dios. La primera vez que muero en el juego, ¿eh? La primera. Y espero que la última. No vi qué cañonazo me ha pegado tú. A medio metro. Me ha reventado.
All units also needs help. 415 and shots fired. 313 Bunker Hill Avenue. 313 Bunker Hill Avenue. Unit to handle code 3 identified.
If you want to leave that one to the uniforms, that's fine. You got plenty to get on.
Why don't you come on out,
A
Jimmy?
ver si puedo saltar esto, ¿vale?
Not my...
No puedo, ¿vale?
I told you not to
Pensaba
call
que
me
sí,
that.
pero no. Ah, sí, sí que puedo. Vale, pues dispara a la cara. Le dan el cuello, ¿vale? Y sale otra vez, le meto en la cabeza. Error tuyo. Eso justo he hecho yo y mirad cómo ha volado él. Pues así he volado yo.
Reinforcements are on the way. Cease and desist.
Creo que me lo he cargado, ¿eh? Y la tía sigue diciendo, cariñito, ¿qué te han hecho? Que ya que te estás persiguiendo con una escopeta del 12 y disparándote. Es que bueno. La mierda. Yo me ha pegado un cañonazo, me ha abierto un agujero así. En el pecho. Increíble, ¿eh? Vale, de aquí sí vamos a ir a la... ¿Te toca?
You can drive.
Vale, de aquí vamos a ir a... Hemos dicho... Aquí, que está al ladito, el Bar Dorado, ¿vale? Residencia de los Maldonados, Residencia de Antonio. Vale, vamos a ir directo, ¿vale?
Another letter? I thought the letter was from a nut.
These letters, Brown and Hanson believe they are genuine. From him.
Now we sent another.
I really hate this fuck.
Otro caso. Espérate, que parece ser que hay otro caso. Porque está sonando la radio y yo no sé si es que hay otro caso de... Pues no parece. Entiendo. Bueno, se ha venido la primera muerte. Oye, no está tan mal. En plan... No me lo esperaba. Yo le he pegado la pata a la puerta. Digo, quizás esté más para adentro, así, en plan... Y va, estaba junto a la puerta y en cuanto me ha visto Bloom, reventado.
Where do they end up? Gutted on the fucking sidewalk.
En algunas cosas sí que tiene razón el Galloway, pero en otras, tío, en otras no, ¿eh? En otras no tiene puta idea, ¿eh? Vale, llegamos al bar El Dorado.
What can I get you?
LAPD. Detectives Phelps and Galloway.
Diego Aguilar. How can I help?
You worked the bar last night?
Yeah, me and a temp guy from the agency.
Did you have a woman in here last night? 21 years old, Hispanic, drinking heavily?
We have a lot of ladies like that in here. But yeah, I know who you mean. Antonia Maldonado. What did she do?
She was murdered last night.
Oh, shit.
Do you know her well? Was she a regular?
Hell no. She was good and tight last night, complaining about her old man. It's a story you get used to working in a bar. She was so hammered last night, she left a letter on the bar.
Una carta, vale. La carta es la que no se encontró quizás dentro del sobre de la carta, ¿vale? Ángel Maldonado by hand. A mano. Ojo. De la oreja, tío. Vale, los papeles del divorcio, ¿vale?
Did you open them?
No need to. She was shouting about it and waving the letter around. Said she was going to show him.
No se entiende. Ella es la que quería ir a por él, ¿vale? Hay que preguntarle por las joyas desaparecidas, ¿vale? Según he leído. Y los movimientos de la víctima, perdona.
All you need from me?
Venga,
Can you
venga.
remember what jewelry she was wearing?
She had a necklace. Some kind of religious thing, I think. The temp guy would have more of an idea. She took the beer he served her and cried into it all night.
What time did she leave?
Can't say for sure.
No, el que no está seguro soy yo.
Where did she
Vamos a
go?
dudar.
Give me something or the LAPD will start getting interested in this place.
Take it easy. She wanted a cab, okay? And my phone was out of order. The closest one I knew was at the fruit market across the street, so I suggested she try there. She seemed reluctant.
Movimientos de la víctima.
Did Antonia say where she was going when she left?
She said she was going to serve the papers on the husband. Said that would take the smile off his face. If you ask me, she was scared. And the drink was for Dutch courage.
Yo creo que ahora dice la verdad.
She attract any interest?
An extremely drunk young woman? What do you think?
Claro, una pila
She
de
managed to
gente.
scare them off, though.
Thanks. You've been a big help.
No problem.
Bueno, muy útil no ha sido.
Get the guy, will you?
Muy útil no ha sido, la
You are
verdad.
best. One last question. What size shoe do you take, Mr. Aguilar?
A broad 9. I have wide feet.
Vale, buscamos un 41, ¿vale? Bien, bien ahí por preguntar. Bien por preguntar, vale. Deberíamos de ir a la frutería Just Picket. Pita tú, payaso. Ahora hay que preguntarle al de la frutería, Just Picket, y a ver qué nos cuenta, ¿vale?
Shut. Great. We'll need to come back later.
No, no hay por qué. Como y si nos colamos o algo, qué sé yo. ¿Por la noche vas a volver a la frutería? ¿Qué eres, tonto? Me voy a montar en este coche para desbloquearlo. Se ha montado conmigo, pero claro. Porque al no saber que no quiero ese coche. Quiero aquel. Básicamente cuando me monto en un coche de estos es porque quiero desbloquearlo, no porque me lo quiera llevar. Simplemente por desbloquear los coches que hay realmente.
Can you drive to this one?
Vale, bar El Dorado. En el bar El Dorado no hemos terminado, ¿eh? Uy, perdona, hombre. Aquí no hemos terminado porque no está tachada la lista, ¿vale?
So, how's your tuna fish salad?
Fuera de servicio.
Sir, do you work here? Sorry, pal.
Ah,
just
el
making
compañero.
deliveries.
From
No,
where?
otro partido.
Just pick fruit market across the
Ah,
street.
pues mira.
Fruit market
Este es el
delivers
de...
here? Yeah, sure does. The Mexes love a little slice with their tequila. We found a crate a lot like the ones you're wheeling there, except it was filled with booze. You know anything about that? What? No, we deliver all over the place, officer. No telling where the boxes end up. Excuse me, I have to get on with this. Fine, thanks.
Sam is taking me to Palm Springs for the weekend.
Ahora sí hemos terminado en...
You know the way. You can drive.
Sí, ahora sí,
Where
¿vale?
exactly are we going?
Vamos a ir a comisaría central. Es que claro, si me voy aquí... No sé si realmente es el orden. ¿Eh? Porque ya hemos visto que la frutería está cerrada. Es decir, en la frutería no puedo hacer nada tampoco, no puedo entrar. Y a ese tío que se ha ido no lo puedo tampoco interrogar, ¿vale? Vamos a utilizar la intuición para descartar preguntas y tal, aunque las tenga claras, pero para conseguir un logro que hay, ¿vale? Hay una especie de logro que tienes que conseguir utilizar la intuición en interrogatorios y tal, ¿vale? La sala 2, ¿no? Me ha dicho. No me equivoco.
Need a drink. I got the jitters again.
Ah, abajo.
This guy's got a screw loose.
Advice?
So, the fruit market was the last stop off Antonia made. Let's go.
Gilipollas que está cerrado.
What now?
So, boys, come on in. Phelps, have you met Finis Brown?
Pleased to meet you, sir.
This information is confidential and doesn't leave this room.
The new letter was left in the back seat of a cab. The driver thinks it was put through the window and not left by a customer.
We're checking all this fares back 24 hours regardless.
Good.
Like the previous letters, it's been assembled from headlines and typed from the Times and Examiner, then glued to an envelope.
What is the other note?
This one? That's also new. A poem.
Un poema a
Hand-typed.
máquina.
Do you mind if I take a look?
Go ahead. We've been over both documents pretty carefully. They've been wiped with gasoline, so there's no chance of prints.
Vale. He cambiado de idea. No querrás un trato justo que te den tax.
That's the message from the Celine Henry case.
¿Y esto?
Yeah, the bum took a swipe at me. Put him down with my sap.
Vale. No tiene sentido ninguno, ¿vale? Pero bueno.
Virtue of this curse,
That's why we called you in.
Do you think it's original?
Siendo la pinta así.
Not unless he's a genius.
You like this nutjob's poem?
No, I like Shelley. It was written at least 100 years ago.
Shelley. Sure, I knew that.
Sí, claro que lo sabía, por
You
supuesto.
see, Finnis? I told you this lad was a bright boy.
Sure, but what does it got to do with the case?
Prometheus Unbound. Prometheus was a titan, a superhuman character who defied the gods to bring fire to humanity.
The Dahlia guy believes he's Superman.
Your guess is as good as mine. One thing for sure is that he's educated. What about the link to the Henry case?
He could have got the wording from the papers. As you said, he is fiendishly clever and takes pleasure in taunting us. What's happening with the Maldonado case?
We have the husband in custody. We haven't interviewed him yet.
Well, upstairs then, lads, and see if we can break him.
I say we bust in there and find the goddamn man.
Vamos a hablar con Maldonado.
That's the cop from the newspaper.
Aquí lo tenemos.
Guy gave his wife a cat. I said, improved your attitude, Angel?
What do you want me to say? I was with Antonia the night she died, but she left the apartment, and that was the last time I saw her.
Vamos a ver.
So your wife paid you a visit last night. What time was that?
Late, around midnight, maybe? She didn't stay long.
Vale, vamos a usar la intuición. Vamos a darle a eliminar respuesta, que es duda o mentira. Yo sé que es mentira por la coartada de la vecina que los vio discutir, que salió detrás de ella, etcétera, ¿vale? Así que vamos a utilizar eso, coartada del marido.
You're out of your mind. My brother will tell you I was at home.
Vale. La vecina no es lo que diga. ¿Qué dice?
We have a witness who confirms that you were arguing, that your wife ran out, that you followed her and didn't come back.
I know this looks bad, but it's not true. We argued, all right, but she went out and I went out after her and she jumped in a car on the corner.
There was a car waiting for her? Can you describe the driver?
Not the driver. It was too dark. But the car. It was a
Un
brown
Ford Coupé marrón. Trámite de divorcio.
She was divorcing you. Is that why you...
Dice que es mentira, pues no nos íbamos a divorciar. Eso es mentira, vamos a usar la intuición, tenemos la carta de divorcio, ¿vale? Vamos a eliminar respuesta, sabemos que es mentira, utilizamos mentira. Vamos a utilizar aquí la carta del abogado, ¿vale? O los papeles del divorcio. Una de dos.
The judge had set a date. You were going to be paraded in front of the whole city for your cruelty to her, Angel.
Antonia. Oh, Jesus. She came in drunk, out of her mind. She doesn't normally drink. She was looking around in her bag. Said she wanted to serve me papers. Me, her own husband. So I slapped her down. She ran out. That's the truth.
What size shoe do you wear, Angel?
Size 8.
Otro 41, loco. Qué coincidencia, tío. Vaya desaparecida.
When we found your wife, her jewelry had been removed. Was she wearing her religious medallion last night?
Sure. She always wore that.
Vale, siempre lo llevaba. Sabemos que en verdad es verdad porque la mujer vieja también nos dijo eso, pero igualmente vamos a quitar eso. Le vamos a dar a verdad y a ver qué dice, ¿vale?
You know about that? She never wore it. She didn't like the message. She kept it locked up in that box of hers.
Y la camisa ensangrentada que este tenía en su habitación.
So how do you explain your shirt being covered in blood?
You found that? I cut myself shaving.
No tengo nada para acusarle, así que le vamos a dar duda, pero antes vamos a usar la intuición, ¿vale? Vamos a quitar una respuesta. Y le vamos a dar a duda, ¿vale? Que es mucha sangre, tío, para cortarse, ¿no?
My brother, Hippolito, he said some bad things about Antonia last night. so I had to sock him one. We
Vale,
got in.
eso ya cuadra un poquito más,
Keep
¿vale?
talking.
She said she came from the El Dorado bar.
And?
It's not one of my places. We used to buy fruit at the market down the street. But the creep there was always running his eyes all over my wife.
What's the name of this fruit market?
Just picked fruit. Ord Street downtown.
Pues nada, tenemos que ir allí.
One last question, Angel. Do the words kiss the blood mean anything to you?
No. Sounds sick to me.
You're not in the clear by any means, Angel. You're going back into a cell. You should think about whether you have anything else you need to share with us.
Yeah, I'm thinking of moving up to a 45.
Vale, vamos a ir a la frutería. Vale.
I've been in this job 20 years.
You can drive.
Fine. Where are we headed?
Ahora realmente debería de estar abierto. Poco estoy seguro, pero... ¿Qué sé yo? Vamos, vamos, Rusty.
Hold on, I'm coming.
What's your read on Maldonado?
I still like him for it. Seriously, that line about the guy at the fruit market making eyes at his woman.
Vale, ahí tenéis el logro, ¿vale? No sé si lo habéis visto.
The guy behind the counter will tell us he saw Angel drag his old lady off into the night. This case will be shut like all the others.
Esos puntos se suelen utilizar cuando realmente no tienes ni puta idea o porque no has pistas o porque no estás con las pistas que tienes enlazando los casos o las preguntas con las respuestas cuando no tienes un poco ni puta idea, hablando claro. Entonces yo no lo había usado porque hasta ahora voy perfecto. Lo he usado por el logro, porque en verdad estaba claro. Vale, vamos a la frutería. Vamos a hablar con el cabrón este. Este puede ser que sea... Vete tú a saber. O sea, nos ve y no dice nada, ni hola, ni buenas tardes, ni nada. Ya eso... no me gusta. A ver, frutería grande, ¿eh?
Sir, Wait, you look familiar.
Hey, from the bar, right? What brings you here?
LAPD, Detective Phelps and Galloway.
Clem Feeney. What can I do for you?
Clem
Did you happen to see a
Feeney.
young
Vale,
woman last
muy
night?
explicado.
21 years old, Hispanic?
Sure, she came by last night. Why do you ask?
Vale, el collar característico, ¿vale?
She was
Vamos a
wearing a
preguntarle.
I
necklace?
didn't notice.
No me
You
fijé.
weren't paying
No
attention,
presta atención, Feeney.
Hey, you're getting the wrong idea.
A ver, ¿vale? Sí, es duda. Esto es
Exactly
duda,
how
claro.
much fruit do you sell here after midnight, Clem?
Look, not much. I sell the odd bottle on the side to the after-hours crowd. Look, I don't want any trouble. I'm just trying to make a buck.
Vale, dice la verdad. Contacto con la víctima.
Young lady
Vamos a ver lo que
arrived
dice.
around midnight?
Yeah, something like that. Used the phone for a cab and then left.
Ok. No sé, me parece raro. Vamos a dudar también, ¿no? Ha mirado. Está mirando para los lados. Está ahí
You already knew
preguntando.
Mrs. Maldonado, didn't you, Clem?
Sure, I met her before. She seemed like a nice
Yo
lady.
creo que te gustaba incluso, cabrón.
Her husband went apeshit
Por
one day.
eso volvió loco un día que la vi hablando conmigo.
She hadn't been back until last night.
Movimientos de la víctima.
Where did she go from here?
She wanted a cab,
Quería un
but I
taxi,
couldn't
pero
get
no pude conseguírselo.
I was about to offer to drive her.
Estaba a punto de ofrecerme a llevarla, pero un coche se detuvo y ella se subió. Tía, tío. Es verdad, alguien me ha dicho que se subió a un coche antes, ¿no? No sé, vamos a dar la verdad porque es que tampoco estoy muy seguro.
Describe the car?
Brown
Un
Ford
Ford
Coupe,
Coupe
I think.
marrón, sí, dijo. Él lo dijo en realidad. Él lo
Do you
dijo.
mind if we look around?
Why would you want to do that?
Because we say so.
I guess you can. Don't you have to get a court order or something? I have rights.
Clem? Shh.
Es decir, el vistazo me imagino que será aquí detrás de esta puerta. Dios, el nota lo que tiene aquí.
No wonder he stays open late at night.
Claro, como que vende alcohol ilegal.
Check through this stuff before we get back out there.
Vale, vamos a ir para empezar aquí. Cuchillo, loco.
Why cut someone who was already dead.
Nuevo objetivo, detén a Clem
It's a
Finney.
typical power thing. Once the stiff is dead, the creep usually feels they can do whatever they like. Must have seen it during the war.
Ya nada más que con eso me han dicho que lo detenga a él.
So what are we hiding in here?
Una polla, no
This thing needs
será.
a combination.
Era 235, chavales. 235. 2. 3. 5. Era 235. Dos, 5, 3. Se me ha ido a mí el 235 rápido. Vale, 2, 5, 3. La pulsera con dijes de Antonio Maldonado, loco. Tiene él. Y ahí hay sangre, ¿eh? Hay una camisa con sangre también, ¿eh? La Virgencita de Guadalupe. Ajá.
This fruit stall punk gets about 10 seconds to explain before I pull his fucking arm.
Se va a ir corriendo, gilipollas.
Clem!
Pues yo no sé por qué corre, tío.
God damn it, get after him, Cole. I'll try to shoot out his tires. Wish me luck.
Métele, métele. La rueda, la rueda.
Hit him, Cole. Spin him out.
La rueda.
Should have grabbed him when we had the chance, Phelps.
When we had the chance, we didn't know he was our guy.
Uf, casi lo atropello a ese, ¿eh? Yo creo que le partió una pierna, pero no estoy tampoco muy seguro, ¿eh?
Strange that he'd leave a trail of blood right back to his own market.
Oh, puta, como conduce, ¿no? El cabrón.
Don't go to sleep on me. Get me back in close.
It's almost too perfect, isn't it?
There's no such thing as too perfect.
La rueda, la rueda.
Clean this asshole off.
Esa es. Dale, dale, otro. Otro.
Keep it steady and I'll
Otro.
try to find
Dale, dale,
his
la rueda.
tires.
Esa es. Abarcar.
Show me your hands.
Bien, 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 lo tenemos. Casi me lo cargo, ¿eh? La cosa es, ha dado vueltas de campana en la camioneta y lo que tenía en el maletero, en la cajetula esa, la cajuela, no se ha caído. Mira, los bidones no se han caído. Ahora hay que investigar, o sea, hay que investigarlo, no, perdón. Hay que...
Outstanding job on this case, gentlemen. The poor woman can now rest in peace. I'll pay the fiend a personal visit myself and remind him that crime in this city does not go unpunished. When they
No lo tengo que interrogar. Creo que no, pero...
I have a meeting this afternoon with the mayor lads. I'll be sure to mention your names.
Este vale.
On your way.
Pero... Una botella para mí. Va a quedar ahí para beber. Vale, creo que he terminado el caso. Eso es la botella. Se lleva una caja el cabrón. Hijo de puta, el comisario, ¿eh? No es nadie. El bicharraco. 17 de 17, 13 de 13, 5 estrellas. Con un cadáver en su puerta, el fiscal quizá quiera mandar a Clem Finney a la cámara de gas. Pues que lo mande. Si ha sido él, que lo manden a la cámara de gas. Vale, entonces, nuevo caso, chavales. Vamos a ver este caso.
Sarge, why are the guys giving it to the doggies? They're riding in trucks, numbskull, while you're marching.
They look pretty badly beat up.
Yeah, they do at that.
Scuttlebutt says it's pretty hard going down south.
We'll find out soon enough. Recon always leads.
How can we fail? Skip with the Shadow leading the show.
Who the fuck is a Shadow?
Lieutenant Phelps, the Shadow of Death.
What the fuck are you talking about?
He's a quiet fucker, Sarge. Never hear the bastard coming.
Sitting there, field stripping a cigarette, and suddenly he's there looking down on you.
Why do you think we keep saluting that Jap-loving son of a bitch? He's bad juju.
That's enough out of you three. Bad juju? Where were you dragged up? A swamp?
Cositas de la guerra. A ver el siguiente caso. El caso del zapato blanco. El caso del zapato blanco. Vamos a ver qué pasa. Vale, un autobús, se baja una chica con zapatos blancos, por cierto, y en los zapatos lleva algo, por cierto, también. Y allí hay alguien. Alguien que está bicheando. Se ha dado cuenta de que esa tía está borracha, porque realmente sí que lo está. Y se acabó. Y la va a matar, seguro la matamos.
Good morning, gentlemen, and what a grand morning it is, too. We have just cause for celebration. Galloway and Phelps are sending another fiend to San Quentin. A nice showy trial, and he'll be strapped down with gas seeping into his tiny reptile brain. Now, to fresh business. Galloway and Phelps, the task is at hand.
Ok, vamos al trabajo. Mi dirección está en la colina, al norte de la zona centro, en Fremont Avenue. Vale, vamos para Fremont Avenue.
Is the new letter genuine?
Now, boys, we all know how many imbeciles have confessed in the short case.
Parta. ¿Sabéis lo que voy a hacer? Me voy a ir a por un coche rápido de verdad. Y voy a usar a partir de ahora ese coche. ¿Por qué digo esto? Voy a comprobar. Me llega a atrapallar, hueputa. A ver. Tenemos un crimen de estos, pero yo lo que quiero es este. Quiero ese coche. Voy a ir a ese coche. Antes de ir a... ¡Vamos, Rusty!
Over here, Rusty.
No te bajes, gilipollas.
Fine morning indeed. You keep locking them up, the bodies keep piling.
Yeah, Californians love a fat, Phelps. As long as the bricks hold up in San Quentin, there'll always be killers in this town to say.
First the letter, and now another body. Come on, you can't keep on telling me there's not a killer still out there.
No vamos a responder hasta que tengamos el coche, ¿vale? El problema es que creo que esos avisos no me salen si...
And besides, landing a big fat marlin is more impressive than an ocean full of minnows.
The minnows make it the man.
Espérate,
You
loco.
can't always hit home.
You're behind the wheel.
Pero me quiero llevar al sitio, gilipollas. Aquí. Me lleve.
I need to go over the case notes.
Vale, ahora de noche. Igualmente no me importa tampoco mucho. Os voy a dejar ahora que veáis esto. Me voy, Cojones. Cojones. Vale, no he dicho nada, ¿vale? Voy a ir a por el coche ese de colección. Entra por detrás, ¿vale? Por una puerta, unos portones azules. Y me lo voy a llevar. Vaya, sí me lo voy a llevar.
Too slow, Rusty.
Vale, ese coche es mío personal. Punto. Ya es mío.
Hold on, I'm coming.
No solo corre más, sino que también gira muy bien, ¿eh? ¡No!
Sorry, my partner isn't the greatest driver in the world.
Me la he cargado. Me la he cargado y sacado el grito pillado ahí, ¿eh? Aspirante a ladrón.
Please, you've got to call for help. He doesn't look real good.
Quick, what happened?
Some punk held up my stand. This guy tried to help and got a bullet for his trouble. He got hit and hightailed it through the parking lot. Get going.
Por él voy. Es él. Es él. Lo bueno de esto, ¿lo veis que es? Que llevo el coche. ¡Ah, da su puta madre! Pues no llevo el coche. Bueno, da igual. Ya iré luego por él.
You gotta get me closer.
Bueno. Ponga en medio, colega. No.
You come any closer, I'll pull the trigger.
Vale.
Put the weapon down now.
Entonces aprieta el gatillo, ¿no?
You fucking asked for it.
¡De puta! Ah, ha matado al rehén, tío. Voy a tener que perseguirlo otra vez. Bueno, ya sé dónde acaba, por lo menos. La persecución acaba ahí en la comisaría, sí, me cojo. La gasolinera.
Please, you've got to call for help. He doesn't look real good.
Quick, what
¿Me
happened?
permite?
Some punk held up my stand. This guy tried to help and got a bullet for his trouble.
Vale, no me permite, ¿vale?
Hightailed it through the parking lot. Get going.
No me permite. Lo que he visto que aparezco con el coche que he ido a coger antes, así que... ni tan mal. Ay, un vivo te he pegado, cabrón.
Don't go to sleep on me. Get me back in close.
Toma ya. A volar. Métele, métele. Métele, Rapti. ¡No! He matado otra vez al tío ese. He atropellado a otro tío. Muy difícil. Se quedan ahí. Joder, es difícil de cojones.
Put the weapon down now. Oh, crap. What the hell? Up and at him.
El otro subió arriba. Yo me encargo.
Hold
Hostia.
up here, Phil.
Claro, esperaré aquí. Era de esperar que te esperaras. Qué tiro en la cara, lo he pegado. Se ha quedado atontado así disparando a la nada. Me ha pegado a 3 tiros, en verdad. Disparaba rápido ese tío, ¿eh? Vale, lo tenemos completo. Y ahora me llevo este coche. Quiero que me lleves a donde tenemos que ir, al escenario del crimen. Llévame.
Can you drive to this one?
Es buen coche, ¿eh? No cague. Escenario del crimen 12 y 17.
Phelps and Galloway, homicide.
Como que de la mañana, ¿no?
The rest of the patrolmen are going door to door canvassing for witnesses.
Thanks. Keep me informed.
Will do, Detective.
Vale.
This looks awfully familiar.
I think that's the impression the boys from the Examiner took with them as well.
There's nothing original under the sun. Why should murder be any different?
What do we have so far?
Not much trace evidence to speak of. Storm blew in around 10 last night, and the rain washed most of it away.
And the body?
Looks like she was tipped out of an automobile from the tire tracks and superficial injuries. Strangled with a length of rope. And for my money, it's triple braid again.
Time of death?
From her temperature, maybe 2 a.m.
Vamos a ver.
It was cold last night.
Usual head injuries.
Blunt force trauma. Knock him over the head, then strangle and mutilate. No message with this one.
At least she was left clothed.
I doubt very much he was concerned with her dignity.
The green silk dress is very distinctive. Any sign of her other shoe?
Un zapato.
And no handbag
Blanco.
or other personal effects.
Aquí tenemos un fajito de billetes. No lo que estamos buscando, obviamente. Vamos a ver las marcas del coche.
Our driver and our killer are most likely one and the same.
Seguramente. Aquí hay algo más. Y tú vete de aquí, deja de contaminarme las pruebas, gilipollas. Las huellas.
No drag marks.
No la arrastró.
Moving around, surveying the scene.
Una botella. Oh. Insuficiente. Vamos a ver la víctima. Lo primero. Como cruje el cuello, loco. Sí, está superior del hombre. Ticket F13, o sea, salta. ¿Cómo le cruje el pescuezo, tío? Qué locura. Las manos no tiene nada. En esta mano tampoco, no llevaba anillos. A ver en el cuerpo. No me permite buscar en el cuerpo ni nada. Vale. Vamos a usar la cabina. A ver qué pasa. Vamos. ¿Quién coño es esta ahora? ¿Qué cojones es?
Detectives, I've been working the houses across the street and up the block. This lady thinks she has something for us.
Detective Phelps, LAPD.
I'm Mrs. Barton, Catherine Barton. I live just across the way.
Yo no sé, tío, porque... ¿Qué tiene que ver aquí? Simplemente una testigo, se supone, ¿no? Sí, cállate, anda. ¡Calla, coño!
Did you see anyone around here last night?
Not last night, but yesterday, early evening, I saw that awful.
Un vagabundo espantoso. Un vagabundo. Dime algo más.
Do you have a description?
Tall, gaunt, horribly disfigured. I think he may have had an accident in the war. He's a very scary, angry man.
Any idea where we might find him?
One of the hobo camps around here. He's some kind of hobo leader. They all follow him around.
Thank you, ma'am. You've been a big help.
Hala, al carajo. La tía gritona esta.
Anything I can do to help.
Cállate ya.
I'd hate to think that something so ghastly could happen right here and nothing be done about it.
Y qué pesa es, colega. Vete al carajo, pendeja. Vale, vamos a llamar por teléfono.
Phelps, badge 1247.
How could I help, Detective?
I need an address on Superior Laundry Services.
Just a moment. Superior Laundry Services, 1260 West 1st Street.
Can you track down reports of hobo camps in the vicinity of Signal Hill?
Just a moment, Detective. There's a large camp under the bridge on Grand between Temple and Sunset.
Thanks, ma'am.
Vale, primero vamos a ir al Superior Laundry ese de los cojones, ¿vale? A ver. Mapa. Otro tío. Lugar de crimen callejero. Superior Laundry. Vamos a ir aquí. Y de ahí, del compi que nos lleve. Obviamente, ahora como no tenemos un coche policial, dentro del coche que tenemos ahora no hay radio. Por lo tanto, ahora no se escucha la radio cuando nos acercamos a los lugares del crimen, ¿vale? Básicamente. De Broadway.
You're crazy.
I'm crazy. It's your fault. Running around behind my back. How am I supposed to trust you, goddammit?
¿Qué hace?
Whoa,
¿Qué hace?
sir. I think you ought to calm down. Mind your own goddamn business. Why is everybody always on my case?
Se ha cargado al poli, loco. Pues es un viejo que hacía con una niña. ¡No! Lo han atropellado. Y polla. Vas por culo, abuelo. A dormir. Increíble, loco. No la mata el abuelo de un disparo en la cabeza y la coge y la atropella un puto inútil. Vamos, que tenía que morir sí o sí esa. Acaba para ella la muerte. ¿Veis? Esta radio no la tiene realmente en el coche que llevamos. En este sí, porque este es el coche de policía, ¿vale? Entonces podríamos llevarnos el coche de policía o podría llevarme aquel. Me voy a llevar de poli, ¿vale? Y no. Vamos a ir aquí. Eso lo vamos a dejar ahí, ya lo cogeré en otro momento.
No message.
Excuse me?
There was no message.
Where?
On the Vic. The last body said something written. This one didn't.
Cierto.
I'm failing to follow you.
Can't be the same guy as what I'm saying, right? Before you start trying to link this to Maldonado and all the others.
There are more factors to consider than the messages, Rusty.
This doesn't fit your pattern, Cole. End of conversation. Understand?
Es verdad que no encaja porque en los otros tres crímenes anteriores, 3-4 digamos, había mensajes a las víctimas en los cuerpos. Entonces no sé yo. Sí, es que no encaja directamente aquí. La víctima no estaba desnuda, no tenía un mensaje, no tenía. No sé. Pero también lo mismo quiere hacerlo así para que. ¿Cómo diría? Para que desviar la atención.
Please. I had Phelps and Galloway, LAPD. We're investigating a case, and one of your laundry labels came up. F1363.
If you give me a minute, I'll go find a register and you can take a look. You take a look for yourself. I've got clothes that need pressing.
Pues yo no te veo con ninguna plancha, yo te veo ahí con las perchas. Vale, cuando no sabemos qué hacer aquí, ¿vale? No sabemos qué seleccionar. Lo que tenemos que hacer es ir a las pistas, ¿vale? Y buscar la etiqueta de la lavandería. En la lavandería dice 1363. ¿Vale? Pues ahí entonces buscamos el 1363. Que es este. ¿Vale? Ya tenemos la dirección de esa persona. No, a ese ni le vamos a preguntar si quiero. Yo creo que ya estaría este sitio, en verdad, ¿eh? Pistas no, joder, lugares. Vamos a ir ahora a la casa, ¿vale? Y tú ya me puedes estar llevando, campeón.
You know the way. You can drive.
Que aquí en verdad en la lavandería no había nada, simplemente estaba el registro y con ese registro hemos conseguido la dirección de la vivienda de esa persona, ¿vale?
Please, please, for once, can you not let your assumptions color your detective work?
Just you wait. Nordic types show a particular disposition for this stuff.
Vamos a ver. ¿Qué tan verdad es? Emerald Street. Bonita casa. Realmente me gusta. Jardín, un barquito allí. No sé si es pesquero, tiene toda la pinta. O recreativo, más bien. Hay dos niñas en casa y no sé si habrá alguien más, ¿vale? Vamos a preguntar.
Hello? Yes? Detectives Phelps and Galloway. Is your wife home, sir? My wife went out last night and she hasn't come home. Can you describe your wife and what she was wearing? We were out at a friend's place, Bobby Ross's, for a party. She was kind of dolled up. She had her green silk dress, open-toed white shoes.
Pues tu mujer
Those
está
are her
muerta.
favorite shoes. Can we come in, Mr. Tarleton? I'm afraid we have some rather bad news. Do you have someone who can look after your children, Mr. Tarleton? I've been trying to arrange a sitter. Look, tell me what's happened. I'm afraid your wife was murdered last night. Her body was found this morning. We're very sorry for your loss. I know this is a difficult time, Mr. Tarleton, but we are going to need you to answer some questions. First, we're going to take a look at...
Algo que no me gusta, tío, de Rockstar es que personalmente hacen muy buenos juegos, pero la pega que le pongo es que deberían traducir las voces, tío. En GTA pasa igual, en Red Dead Redemption pasa igual, en la Noire pasa igual, es decir, en este pasa igual. Te ponen subtítulos. A mí me suda la polla, tío. Yo no quiero leer. No quiero estar pendiente de leer los putos subtítulos. Quiero estar pendiente de ver las imágenes, no los putos subtítulos. Porque si no, no me entero. Es decir, es que puedo enterarme porque realmente al final te enteras, ¿vale? Pero no es lo mismo porque... me refiero a que... ¿Qué es esto? Me refiero personalmente a que mientras tú estás leyendo no puedes fijarte bien 100% en otras cosas, ¿vale? Entonces, preferiría escuchar una voz en mi idioma, ¿vale? En vez de tener que estar leyéndolo, porque si tengo que estar leyéndolo no puedo centrarme 100% en lo que se ve en el juego. Y eso es lo que yo quiero, fijarme en lo que se ve en el juego. Espérate, no puedo mirar por dentro de la foto. Entonces, eso es algo que personalmente no me gusta de Rockstar. Siempre lo diré. ¿Hace buenos juegos? Sí. ¿Debería de subtitularlos? Sí. Sí, joder, sí. Debería. Una maqueta del barco que tienen fuera. Todo. Más cerilla. Baron's Bar.
Baron's Bar again. Someone must be real sweet on this dive.
If you'd excuse me, ladies.
Bolso. Abre.
So she went out without her handbag?
Bolso de la víctima. ¿Y dónde iba sin bolso, tío?
At least she was spared that particular indignity.
¿Esto con una licencia de conducir o qué? Sí, permiso de conducir.
She'd have to be in quite a state to leave this behind.
Estaría borrachísima seguramente. Ojo, unas botas. No me jodas que son del 41. Mucho.
Pinker can match the impression to the crime scene.
Vale. Vamos a mirar fuera, ¿vale? Por si vemos algo interesante que el club. Pero bueno, por verlo. Cuerda. Cuerda triple trenza.
Like a match with the ligature marks.
Operator, message for KG.
Vamos a ver qué tienen.
Putting you through now.
Phelps, badge 1247.
47.
How can I help, Detective?
Can you run an address for a Bobby Ross? Then send some uniforms over.
Would you like him picked up?
No. Suspect says he was with Ross last night. We need to confirm the alibi.
I'll get a prowl car dispatched.
Vamos a ver.
Thanks for your help.
Venga, cuelga ya. Vamos a hablar con el tío este. Vamos a interrogarlo. A ver, campeón. ¿Qué es lo que pasa?
What is your wife's name?
Teresa.
Teresa. Sospechoso.
Do you have any idea why anyone would want to hurt your wife?
No. Everyone loved Teresa.
Bueno.
She was so full of life. It can't be anyone who knew her.
Yo voy a dar la mentira.
I think you're lying, Lars. I think you were mad at your wife for embarrassing you in front of your friends. I think you came back here and strangled her and then dumped her body on the hill.
You think I strangled my wife? How do you expect to prove that?
Con el cabo de la proa, quizás. Porque es la misma que...
Your wife was strangled with triple braid rope. The bow line from your boat is a perfect match.
Look, I know this looks bad. I'm gonna have to come to terms with the fact that I let her go.
Portada de Lars Taraldsen.
You said you went to a party at Bobby Ross's place?
That's right, Bobby had a bunch of people over. We were having a good time. She said she was bored and decided to leave.
Ah, ella se fue. Y él dejó que ella se fuese sola. Con la borrachera, sabiendo que hay asesinato en la ciudad. Estoy dudando, ¿eh?
You let your drunk wife leave the party and go off on her own?
Efectivamente.
Look, I was angry. I was having a good time. She has to go and ruin it. We always have to do what she wants to do. Last night she wanted to go dancing.
Any idea where?
Where she always goes. A bar down on North Baudry Avenue.
Bárbaro.
Bar. She goes there, drinks too much, gets maudlin, and calls me. I go and bring her home.
Pues vaya puta mierda de vida. Está intentando aguantarse el llorar, ¿eh? Sí, sí, está dolido, ¿eh? Yo creo que esta no es. Estado de ánimo de la víctima.
Mr. Taraldson, was Teresa
Yo creo que no
happy
es
at
este.
home?
Yeah, I think she was.
Vamos a dudar a ver si nos habla un poquito más.
Spill it, Taraldson. We like the look of you for this, so you better give us something.
We're at the party. She has a few and says she wants to go out dancing. We only have the sitter until 9. I get mad. I tell her to go ahead, but I'm staying. She storms out. Look, I'm doing well at cards. I hardly ever do well.
O sea que encima también te gustan los
She was
juegos.
so much fun, but now she drives me fucking crazy.
What time did she leave the party?
About 8:30, maybe a little earlier.
Último contacto con la
When
víctima.
was the last time you saw your wife?
Around 8:30. The card game at Bobby's was wrapping up. I played out my hand and drove home here. Paid the sitter and went to bed.
Mientes, tiene unas botas llenas de barro y además la chaqueta mojada.
Come straight home, did you?
And how do you figure that?
Mira. Botas con barro. ¿Lo estás viendo? Botas con barro.
You were out in the rain.
¿La chaqueta la he encontrado o no la he mirado siquiera, me parece?
Okay, I stayed a little later than I said. This cute little
Vale,
brunette
está
was sitting
tendida.
on me.
La he visto pero no le daba...
Teresa noticed. I was half cut. I walked her home from Bobby's, but nothing happened. I walked back and got the car this morning.
Thanks for answering our questions, Mr. Tarleton. You'll need to go downtown to identify your wife's body.
I should have taken her dancing.
In my experience, Mac, you give in to broads, you'll be giving in to them your entire life.
Cierto. Vale, vamos a ver lo de la chaqueta porque me ha dado... Me ha chocado un poco, ¿vale?
You believe this guy's story?
Kind of rings true.
He visto ropa tendida, pero no sé dónde. Aquí. Pues no, no es aquí. Tiene que ser dentro, ¿no? Pues me ha parecido ver una chaqueta antes. Y por eso he dicho lo de la chaqueta, pero...
momentarily, ladies.
Ah, mira, la ves, aquí, coño.
Lars was out in the rain last night.
Sounds like the Tarleton broad had her last drink at Barron's Bar. We should check the place out.
You're behind the wheel.
Vamos a ir al bar Barons. A dar la vuelta tú, cabrón. Eso. Repita, la mierda. Vale, estamos en el bar Barons. Vamos a entrar.
Gents, drink?
Phelps and
No,
Galloway,
hablamos.
LAPD. I'm Benny Clough. This is about Teresa
Qué
Tarleton.
guapo, tiene como avioneta ahí alrededor, tío. Está chulo eso.
Yes, it is.
I heard about it on the radio. They're saying it was that Black Dahlia freak again. God damn it. Yeah, I rang that husband of hers. The babysitter said he was out.
If you don't mind, we have a few questions.
Último contacto con la víctima.
Teresa leave?
Around
A saber.
10:30, I think.
A las 10:30. Vale, a las 10:30 estuvo aquí. ¿Vale? Porque no tiene por qué
In a
mentirme.
car? By bus? How was it?
She called for a cab.
Pidió un taxi. ¿Fue el número?
Sure I did.
Claro, Teresa
I
no
like
había.
Teresa. The only time she has a drink is when things aren't going so good
Me
at
tenía
home.
preocupado, ok.
I was worried about her.
A ver, dame.
Come with fried tomatoes.
Put out an APB on the cab. 3591.
3591. Vagabundo sospechoso, chavales. A
Who
ver
was
si
she
nos
with?
dice algo.
We've had reports about a tall, gaunt-looking hobo. He wasn't here last night?
I get plenty of bums in here, but nothing to fit that description.
Ok. Vamos a dudar porque él está
The
dudando.
likelihood is that whoever she left here with killed her. Give it up, Benny.
All right, two creeps were all over her, promising to take her dancing.
You get a good look at these guys?
Sure, I got a good look. One of them was a sailor in uniform. His cap said, USS Indiana.
And the other man?
The other guy
Un marinero, ¿eh?
is
Richard
Richard
Bates.
Bates. He's sitting in the back
Ahora
right
mismo
now.
está sentando al fondo, el del pelo
Polo
rojo.
shirt.
Puedo hablar con él ahora. Vale, vamos a preguntarle por el taxi.
Any idea where she was headed?
Nope. I didn't get that.
The husband said she wanted to go dancing.
And she always wants to dance when she's been drinking. She was trying to talk some guys into taking her to one of the dance halls.
Thank you for your help, Mr. Bluff.
Vale.
I'll take it from here.
Vamos a hablar.
This is Bates.
That's him.
LAPD. Don't make me chase you, shitbird.
Pues esto va a obligar. A ti no, a mí.
The son of a bitch get away.
Ah, sí, a ti también. Yo corro más, así que apártate.
Bates, we just want to talk.
Come on, we got a ride. Get in and drive.
Lo siento, compi, me llevo tu coche.
I thought you were gonna leave me there.
Who knows what this guy will pull when he's cornered? We could have a killer on our hands.
No, uf, casi pillo a la tía que estaba ahí tumbada. ¿Dónde va el tumbado?
I don't think the killer would be kicking back in the bar where he met the victim.
Qué dura esa madera, ¿no? De la verja. ¿Qué cojones? No es normal eso, ¿eh? Pensaba que se iba a romper, por eso le he metido por ahí. Cuidado aquí, que no explotemos. ¿Y qué estoy haciendo, gilipollas? Me estoy acercando. Métele. A la rueda, coño. A la rueda. Eso es. Y ahora. Toma, cabrón. Te rindes, me cago en tu puta madre. Cabrón. Le voy a detener, Nada más que por irse así huyendo, lo voy a detener,
Last night, you went drinking with a lady in the bar. Now she's dead, and your face is all messed up.
Míralo con la porra.
She preferred to sail it. You could lay it off on him. Are we finished?
Tell us about Teresa Terrellson.
Creo que he fallado, He fallado, tío. He fallado, tío.
So what happened when you left the bar?
Pensaba que era verdad, pero no. Tenía que haberle dado a duda. No quería fallar, tío, porque quiero todas las estrellas. Aquí te voy a dar a duda, tío.
You've done time, haven't you, Richard? Is that why you ran?
I'm on parole. On what offense?
Métele, métele. Ahora sí es eso,
I
claro.
was lying there on the sidewalk. He flags a cab and jumps in with the broad.
We're taking you in, Bates.
How come?
No le he dado correcto. Qué mierda eso, tío. Qué coraje me ha dado eso.
My theory of once a degenerate, always a degenerate.
Take him to Central. He's a material witness in a murder case. Find him a cozy cell.
Richard here knows the drill.
Qué putada, tío. He fallado ahí, tío. Qué putada, compadre. Bueno, da igual, ya está. Lo mismo en comisaría tenemos que volver a interrogarlo, ¿vale? No estoy seguro. Vamos a ir al barrio de Chabola. A por el jueputa ese de... Espera, espérate, vamos a ir aquí. Vamos a ir al telefonillo. A ver qué nos dicen.
Cole Phelps, badge 1247.
How can I help, Detective?
I need an APB out on a yellow cab, number 3591. Ask dispatch to relay all sightings to car 11K.
No problem. I'll get on the radio.
Were there any incident reports filed in the vicinity of Barron's Bar on North Beaudry Avenue? We're tracking a sailor who was involved in a fight outside the bar.
I can check the reports, Detective. I have a message for you from Captain Donnelly. Message reads, James Jessup, U.S. Navy able seaman, has information relevant to your case. Jessup is currently being detained at Central Station.
Could be our man. Thank you.
James Jessup. Vale, hay que interrogar a ese.
Galloway, need you.
Keep your shirt on. I'm coming.
Es una putada, tío, haber fallado eso porque lo quería hacer perfecto. Y puede que haber fallado eso, puede que no me dé las 5 estrellas, tío. Y me jodería mucho. Porque quiero hacer todos los casos con 5 estrellas. Espera. Vamos a ir a comisaría, ¿vale?
Hobos are just like you or me. They're just men who've fallen on hard times.
You ain't much of a detective, Phelps. You think a hobo's like me. Clue number one, how do I smell?
Of alcohol and stale sweat.
Creo que hay algo así en plan callejero, ¿no? Escuchando mucho la radio, tío. Y míralo, ¿ves? Sí. Ay, no me importa ahora mismo.
You know, I may be onto something here.
Very funny, Phelps.
Hoy no estoy haciéndolo tan bien, tío, porque me han matado por primera vez en todo el juego y encima he fallado una de las preguntas del interrogatorio ahí en mitad de la calle. Y pensaba que estaba diciendo la verdad y no. Qué sueño tengo hoy, tío. Con la espalda machacada. Encima de todo.
He's in interview too.
El Adán, ¿no?
What do you make of him? Sailor on furlough who looks like he's in trouble and knows it.
Está la 2 por aquí. Justo ahí me parece.
I don't care. I don't go in for letting gangsters off scot-free.
Detectives Phelps and Galloway. We know why you're here, Jessup, so it would be best if you answered our questions truthfully.
I don't want any trouble. That's why I'm here. I heard on the radio about this lady getting killed. I got leave from my CO to come down straight away.
So why did you kill her?
I didn't kill anyone. Look, you need to believe me.
Let's start at the beginning.
Contacto con la víctima.
You went to Barron's Bar. What time did you arrive?
I got a 24-hour pass. I got there around 7.
That's where you met Teresa Terrelson?
Sure. We had a couple of drinks.
¿Cómo a dudar?
So you
Yo
tried
creo que
to
está
make a
mintiendo.
woman who was incredibly drunk?
Look, I'm not proud of myself, but I never hurt her.
You took her dancing?
That's right. We caught a cab to the Crystal Ballroom.
A la sala cristal. Vale, ya tenemos otro sitio más, la sala cristal, ¿vale? Incidente con Bates.
You had a fist fight with Richard Bates over Mrs. Terrelson.
You met the guy? He's a creep. You should take a look at him for this.
A mí si no me dicen nada, vamos a dudar.
He's pointing the finger directly at you, Jessup.
I only had one night before I was back in the tub. He had all the time in the world to look for some action. I belted him. I'd do it again. She was better off with me.
Sure. You're a shining example of chivalry, Jessup. We're holding you till we can clear this with the driver.
Yeah, my CO said as much.
Vale.
Can you put the guy in 2 in a cell and inform the commander?
Sure, detective.
No,
Got
pues
a message
tenemos...
for you. Sighting of your disfigured hobo on Grand between Temple and Sunset.
Vale.
It looks like the beau has a record too. He's wanted in connection with 2 female
Vale,
assaults.
ese lo encerramos entonces. Vamos a por el rápido.
You drive. I need to go over the case notes.
Vamos a ir al barrio de Chavala.
Exactly are we going?
Vamos, carajo.
3 suspects in the can and 1 on the hook. And still no hard evidence on any of them.
Es verdad, tenemos a 3 detenidos.
11K, go ahead.
Patrolman reporting that Bobby Ross's car game is breaking up at midnight.
11K, roger that. Plenty of time to get downtown, Cole.
It's possible. Have them bring him in.
KGPL, could we have Lars Terrelson picked up?
Ya tenemos 4. 4 detenidos de 5. Y ahora vamos a ir a por el... por el vagabundo. Coño, viene con una escopeta el colega preparado, ¿eh? Ese, tiene toda la pinta de ser ese. Van a cerrar. Me peleo aquí con todo, ¿eh?
We'd like a word with you.
Save it for someone who's interested.
They're fascists. Come to move us on and steal what little we have left. 6 rounds won't get us far.
Y eso con un hacha. Me velía a tiros aquí, ¿eh?
These men know they're harboring a murderer. We need to...
Toma, toma, toma. Eso para que te calles. Toma cabezazo en tu cara. Esquivo, te golpeo. Dude, como chato. Toma.
What's your name?
Comrade Stalin.
Very funny. We'll find out from your personal effects.
Stuart Ackerman.
You're under suspicion for murder, Ackerman. We're taking you downtown.
You can't do anything more to me than what the Japanese have already done.
Vale, tenemos al vagabundo, ¿vale? El niño muerto ahí, chaval. Ha pegado un tiro ahí a uno, mira, sangre, sangre, sangre y no hay ni un cuerpo ya. Ojo. Vale, él era este. Tiene pinta de que parece que lo conocía de algo. Monedero con dinerito y un ticket de cristal.
Ackerman doesn't look like much of a dancer.
Vale. Pues tiene pinta de que este es el monedero de la chavala esa. Se ha cargado. Mira, una cuerda. Y ensangrentada, loco. Una cuerda triple trenza y ensangrentada.
Looks familiar. Safe bet it'll match the mark under Teresa Terrelson's chin.
Interrogo a Stuart Ackerman. Ah, mira. Morfina desaparecida. Vamos a verlo, ¿vale?
Still working.
A ver qué pasa.
I'm off to the Lighthouse Club in Santa Monica.
Hello, Jack.
Mr. Benson, this is Courtney Sheldon. He's a buddy of mine from the war.
Well, I'm sure you two will want to polish some old war stories. Good evening, Jack. Mr. Sheldon.
Ese es Jack Kelso, ¿no?
Sir. Take a seat, Courtney.
Me parece, no estoy seguro.
We need your help, Jack.
I told you I would have nothing to do with that.
I'm fine too, Jack. Medical school's going well. I got a part-time job.
Do dope peddlers need part-time jobs?
We made a mistake and we're in trouble, Jack. A local gangster, Mickey Cohen, is putting on the squeeze.
So hand it over, walk away. What's stopping you?
We had a deal with them that they would dole it out slowly. They said they would supply abortion clinics and doctors, but they've been moving it on to addicts, and they can't cope with the purity.
So your problem is with gangsters being dishonest.
My problem is that people are dying, and that if this gets back to us, we'll all end up in jail.
So how am I supposed to help, Courtney? This isn't the war. I can't just wave a magic wand and clean up your mess.
We want you to negotiate, Jack.
The only thing these guys understand is force, Sheldon. They got to the top back east by proving to be more vicious than the English, the Irish, and the Dutch. They make their own laws. That's the nature of a secret society.
Claro.
God's sake, Courtney, you want to be a doctor. How can you fight with that?
We are better trained, Jack.
I didn't make it through the war to come back to this kind of shit, Sheldon.
Vale. Cerrar la puerta, cabrón. Por puta.
Can you drive to this one?
Fine. Where are we headed?
Vamos otra vez a la comisaría. ¿Hay algún sitio que me falta, tío? Es decir, el mapa. Barrio de Chabola, Barbaros, Landry, residencia de Tarlesen, comisaría, ¿no? Y es que no aparece en ningún sitio. Y entre las pistas, pero...
Husband has an alibi, but no real motive other than neglect. Jessup's alibi checks out. Bates is a recidivist. He'll be pulling the same stick until we put him away for good. Ackerman has
Necesito saber sobre ese pase, tío.
opportunity,
¿De dónde viene? ¿De dónde fue? ¿Qué pasa? Y luego lo del autobús, porque esa mujer se buscó de un autobús, así que seguramente tendremos que buscar en la terminal de autobuses, o la estación, o qué sé yo, la parada, no tengo ni idea.
Yeah, the bum took a swipe and
Going this
put
way.
it down with my sap.
Come on, Phelps, on your bike.
I want to make homicide. You know you made it.
¿Aquí?
Ackerman, you were in the Marines.
How do you know?
The Corps selected big guys for flamethrower duty. That's how you got the burns.
Life expectancy was 5 minutes for a guy in flamethrower detail. What kind of a government puts weight like that on a man's shoulders?
You'll get no argument from me. It was a heavy load.
You feeling sorry for this smelly fuck?
Vamos a ver.
Why did you kill Mrs. Terrellson?
I have no recollection of the people I have killed.
Vamos a decirle mentira porque me he encontrado la cuerda con
Are
sangre,
you
¿vale?
denying that you strangled Mrs. Terrellson with a length of rope?
I'm not denying anything. You have to have proof, lackey.
Vale, si te parece bien... ¿Esta prueba?
We found a matching piece of rope in your lean-to. I think we'll find the blood will match too.
I own no property. How could it belong to me?
También es verdad. ¿Cómo va a ser suya de su casa si él no tiene casa? Es una puta chabola.
A bus driver dropped Mrs. Terrellson near your camp around 2 a.m. Why did you take her up to the hill?
Which hill? I have many places. I go where I please.
Pues vamos a dudar porque no tengo nada contra
You're
la...
clearly insane, Ackerman. The state of California does not execute mental patients.
I don't know the names of the women I've killed, but I've killed many of them. Their necks are so fragile.
Stuart Ackerman, I am charging you with the murder of Teresa Terrellson.
¿Esta? ¿En serio ya está? Creo que este caso no va a ser 5 estrellas. Creo que me han faltado muchas cosas, ¿eh?
I can abide. But a filthy red who chooses to live outside the rules of society, I cannot stomach.
Un rojo asqueroso, dice.
Tarleton will provide the catalyst we need. I've spoken to the chief and the mayor, and I think it's time we send some men in to remove the godless and send them on their way over the county line. A grand day that will be, gentlemen. And a grand result you have brought me. You two are fast becoming my finest crusaders.
Mira, tío, mira. 13 de 17. No, putas 4 estrellas, loco. No quería... No, joder. No, hostia puta. 13 de 14. Me cago en tu puta madre. Un puto caso de 4 estrellas, tío. Los quería todos de 5 estrellas. Joder. Putada.
And now my heart's a blazing ruin. You say that
¿Esta que se ha enamorado de la Yonki esta? Cantante.
don't walk away, don't do me wrong, don't leave me singing this torched song when I'm burning.
El caso de la secretaria. Eso, una estación de trenes, por lo que veo. Otra tía borracha, para variar. Ahí he visto unas piernas. Vale, ahí hay un tío que lleva una llave. Se le está viendo la cara perfectamente.
Of course we will look into it. Yes, I'm aware that it's an election year. Keep a hold of your hat, Counselor. Now is not the time to lose your nerve. It would appear that someone has hocked a rose gold wedding ring and matching engagement ring. Sound familiar?
Deirdre Muller.
Press the pawnbroker and see what you can find out. The address is 348 South Main Street. The Muller case goes before the grand jury next week, and the DA does not want any egg on his face.
Vamos a ver aquí.
Then get out to the railroad depot on Santa Fe Avenue.
Right,
Vale.
Skipper.
This guy must have escaped from the Looney Bin.
I didn't come to
Another
California
body.
to be a second.
And Deirdre Muller's ring. The Emperor may soon have to come to terms with the fact that he's wearing no clothes.
What exactly did you get that book of riddles shoved up your ass, Phelps? Is that what your old man paid college tuition for?
A ver. ¿Dónde vamos?
You can drive.
And where exactly are we going?
Al prestamista, ¿no? Me imagino. Primero. Que no tengo ni idea. Yo creo que primero era el prestamista, ¿vale? Pero no hay idea. Cuando se empiezan a complicar así los casos es difícil, ¿eh?
Anyone could pawn a ring.
But if you take it along with all of the other indicators.
Cole, Hugo Moeller was identified by the school's groundkeeper. He's our guy.
Witnesses have fingered the wrong guy before.
He ran, for God's sakes.
And he always maintained he was set up.
Sí puede ser inocente, sí. De hecho, creo que sí que son inocentes. No todos, pero algunos de ellos sí. 10:15 de la mañana. Y 16, para ser exacto. Vamos a entrar. Cadenas y anillos. Oro.
How can I help you boys?
Ya puede estar ayudándome. Dentro, ¿verdad?
Detectives Phelps and Galloway, LAPD. You have a rose gold wedding and engagement ring?
David Bremner. Am I gonna get something for this pledge? Gave that bum
Tiro en
money
la
that you
cara
guys
va
are
a
gonna
recibir,
leave
hijo
me
de
short.
puta.
How much did you give him?
$50?
Try another number.
20?
Try 10. Feel lucky you're getting it.
I have the rings right here.
What's this mark here?
Maker's mark. Usually traceable. That one came from Hartfield's Jewelry down on Broadway.
Ok.
Thanks for the tip.
¿Y el otro?
Does this
22
mark mean
quilates.
anything?
Hallmark. Gives you an idea of the quality.
¿Esto?
What have you got on the guy who brought these in?
Goes by the name of Percy B. Shelley. Gave an address. 15 Poland Street, London, Tulare County.
Can you give us a description of the man who pawned these rings?
Not sure. Medium height, medium build. Dark hair, I think. Sorry. He just had one of those forgettable faces.
We'll be in touch, Mr. Bremner.
¿Y ahora?
You know the way. You can drive.
Estación de clasificación.
Where are we headed?
Vámonos.
We have a problem.
We could have the local troopers check out the Tulare County address.
The address is bogus. Herb is having fun with us. The guy who's been sending the Dahlia letters is also the guy who pawned these rings.
How do you figure that?
Percy Bysshe Shelley wrote the poem that came with the Dahlia letter. If the Dahlia letters are genuine, then the man who killed Elizabeth Short may have also killed Deirdre Mullen.
And how do we prove that, Phelps? The skipper ain't gonna like this one bit.
We're gonna have to rely on this guy tripping up on his own vanity.
En que la vanidad le pierda. Podría ser que sí. Que la vanidad le pierda. Pero no estamos seguros de ello. No lo sabemos. Ah, tengo la vista cansada, tío.
You boys ready? Follow me.
Ah, tengo que seguirlo.
We should keep this development with the rings.
Bueno, no sigue el compi, ¿no?
We're all on the same team, Rusty.
A ver, hay otro de estos. Yes. No lo voy a hacer ahora, tío.
Chain of command, Phelps. The skipper will decide who needs to know. Got it?
I get it, Rusty. I just don't like it.
Vaya, otra muerta.
Yeah. I look after all the rail depots.
What have you got?
The Negro, Nelson Gaines, called it in. I came down here to make sure him and the other guy, Jameson, stuck around.
Jameson found the body?
Something like that. Guy makes me sick.
We'll talk to the coroner. Keep an eye on both of them.
Vale, vamos a ver primero las cositas y ahora hablaré con él, ¿vale?
Nice day, gentlemen.
Someone was trying to get her to come home.
Tenemos una carta rasgada a media. Un ticket de... Sí. Apartamento o algo así, ¿no? Empleo en el cine. Trabaja en el cine, vale.
That's going to be difficult, Cole. Keystone Studio lot closed back in 41.
Esto fuera. Vamos a ver la cerilla esta.
Maybe someone at Mensch's will remember her.
Vale. Vale, la licorería fue a comprar todo esto.
This is a chit for personal items, not booze. It's an angle worth investigating.
Okay.
What are you thinking, Ray?
The city keeps tossing us dead bodies. We're just running to catch up.
Sí.
Got this gadget whiz guy putting
¿Esto qué es? ¿Un mechero?
No good to me.
¿Cómo que no? Es una especie de cipo o algo así. mechero, tabaco. Pues yo creo que sí que están relacionados, porque en casi todos los estos había tabaco, tirar el suelo y. Y si el tío es fumador y. Vamos a ver a la víctima. Cabeza machaca.
Very good. There is the usual evacuation smell, but it appears she's been living rough for quite some time.
Very strong smell of alcohol.
Well, the autopsy will tell, but I would assume that she was inebriated.
Estaba borracha, sí. Vagabundeo.
Another missing ring.
Otro anillo desaparecido.
Swabbing a lot of bare fingers recently.
Can you be more exact about the time of death?
No later than 2 a.m. The state the body was in, a 1 or 2
Otra
hour
mano.
window is the best I can do.
Hora de la muerte, vale. Buscar más cositas. Salpicón de sangre en el vagón.
Blood splatter on the carriage.
Tuvo que darle fuerte,
She must have been struck while standing up. What have we got here?
White female, approximately 40 years of age, lipstick smudges on the face, but no writing, at least nothing legible. A blunt force trauma to the temple, nose, and eye regions. Ligature marks point to the probable cause of death being strangulation.
Any idea of the time of death?
From her temperature, after midnight would be my guess.
Ok. Vale, ahora con quién tengo que hablar. Espérate, vamos a hablar. Este es John. Me dijeron John Jameson o algo así.
Detective Phelps, LAPD homicide.
John Ferdinand Jameson.
John
I need
Jameson.
you to answer some questions, John.
If you don't mind, I prefer Ferdinand.
Don't push your luck, knucklehead.
What were you doing to the body, Ferdinand?
Are you sure you won't be upset?
Verás.
Try me, Ferdinand.
I was kissing her.
Toma puñetazos, muy
It's
bien.
not against the law.
Shut up.
There's no
Take
law
your
against it.
beating like a man.
Turn out
Estaba
your
besando a la
pockets,
muerta. Tócate los cojones, El puto pillado de la cabeza. Uy, tiene un pintalabio.
Classic Carmine. Is this yours, Ferdinand?
No. I found it near her purse. I thought she could use some lipstick.
Rusty, stop. Don't hit him.
Ha manipulado las pruebas, en verdad.
You,
Bueno, ha cogido el pintalabio, la ha
Wasn't like
morreado
she
al
needed
muerto, yo que sé, a la
Took a
muerta.
look.
Creo que dice la verdad. Creo que es tan tonto que está diciendo la
Wasn't
verdad.
any to take. I found her lipstick in her matchbook over on the mat. Not much else.
Pues sí, ha dicho la verdad. Descubrimiento del cadáver.
Yes, I did. I work here. I was coming off shift and headed home.
No, duda.
Why didn't you report the body, Jameson? Do you know how this is going to look to a jury?
A jury? What gives? I could tell that she was dead. I came through here about midnight last night. She wasn't here then.
Let me belt him again.
You're under arrest, Jameson. We'll see how this plays out. Until then, you can think a little on how you'd like to be treated if you were found dead.
I'm telling you, it's not illegal. Me and some friends of mine.
Toma un puñetazo en la cara.
Fine. You get this sack of shit into a cell, I'll deal with him later.
Sure, Rusty.
Vale.
Morning, ladies.
Vamos a hablar con el negrito también, ¿vale?
Detective Phelps.
Porque...
Galloway, homicide. Can you tell me exactly what happened?
We were shunting cars over to the main line when I saw this man here lying on top of this woman. The woman wasn't moving and seemed to be in a bad way.
What time was this?
About 7:30 this morning, sir.
Thanks for your help. Have you given Patrolman Hart your details?
I have, sir.
Thank you. You can go now.
Vale, se va. Vamos a ver aquí un teléfono allí. Voy a llamar por teléfono.
Phelps, 1247. need an address on Levine's Liquor, closest store to the Santa Fe Avenue rail yard if possible.
Just a moment, Detective. Closest store would be the one at 939 South Hope Street.
Thanks.
Segundillo, chavales. A ver. Entonces debemos de ir a la licorería, si no me equivoco.
You drive. I need to go over the case notes.
And where exactly
Creo
are
que
we
sí, que
going?
debería de ir a la licorería. Creo que debería de ir a la licorería, pero no estoy seguro tampoco. Voy a ir. Voy a la licorería directamente. Ah, hombre, corre. Ya marcha atrás y vamos.
You read that those goddamn Chinese want to sell the relief food that we're sending them?
Yeah.
Pues como aquí, algunos moros que le dan
People are
comida,
starving. They can't do
los tiran o los venden.
Want to sell the food to fund the civil war against the communists.
Really? Guess that's okay then.
Armies can't fight without food. Spend all your money on weapons, but you still have to have the will to fight. Fortunately, the Reds will win in China.
Watch your mouth. You know what you're saying?
The people of this country overthrew a king. You think the Chinese will balk at an emperor if they are starving?
Licorería. A ver qué hay en la licorería. Ahí es donde tenemos la nota de la compra. Licor, vinos, tal. Licorería Levine, ¿no? Y así Levine.
What can I do for you?
LAPD, Phelps and Galloway. We're making inquiries into the murder of Evelyn Summers.
Evelyn? She's dead?
You knew Evelyn Summers, Mr.
Robbins. Yes, I knew Evelyn. I was a good friend of her ex-husband. She kept some of her stuff here.
Can you show us, please?
Ah, sí.
Sure.
Pues a ver.
Come this way.
Vamos a ver lo que guarda ahí.
You got some fine stock here, Mr. Robin. You know, you let us take some for the road, this case might get solved a lot quicker.
Hijo puta,
He's joking, Mr. Robbins.
She kept
Ah, que estaba en plan
I probably shouldn't
vagabundeando.
have let her. An alcoholic in a liquor store. That was never going to work out, was it?
We'll take a look around.
Vale, hay una
He was
foto.
always such a loner.
Y hay un libro.
Evelyn was reading Aristotle?
Aristóteles.
Evelyn wasn't stupid. The only stupid thing about her was her need to drink.
Ajá. Abrimos.
And she was borrowing books from Grosvenor McCaffrey.
Vale. Está, ¿no? Y otra foto. Irrelevante, una foto de ella con otra persona. ¿Y esto?
When exactly did Evelyn work in the pictures?
A few years ago. She worked in legal copyrights for music.
Vale. Un bolo de bolera.
Rawlings Bowling Alley. Maybe Evelyn did something other than drink in her spare time.
Rawlings. I know that place. Corner of 9th and Grand. A lot of cops bowl there on Tuesday
Vamos a
nights.
ver. Aquí en el centro hay algo, no sé lo que es.
I'm guessing Evelyn hadn't held down a job for quite some time before she was killed.
Sí, tiene toda la pinta, sí. Vale. Ya estaría todo, ¿no? Contacto con la víctima.
For Evelyn's movements yesterday.
She came by in the morning.
A social visit to pick up some of her things?
She had a couple of bucks and bought a quart of rye.
Yo creo que sí, ¿no?
Any idea where the money came from?
She didn't mention it, but she did say the booze was a present for a boy. She said they had been fighting and she had to make it up to him.
¿Quién será ese hombre? Relación con la víctima.
Were you and Evelyn close, Mr. Robbins?
Many people will be sad she's gone. I'll be one of the few.
Parece que sí, que la echa de menos, ¿verdad? ¿Sabes?
Evelyn had been sleeping rough of late.
It became difficult for me to have her staying here. Her mother was trying to get her back on the straight and narrow. She's old now. And to be honest, you have to have a good reason to want to get back on.
Sí, sí, verdad. Sí, verdad. No sé por qué, pero sí, verdad.
You know a friend of Evelyn's by the name of McCaffrey?
McCaffrey.
Not personally.
No lo creo, tío.
You sure you don't know McCaffrey? The book was in
Me he equivocado. Me he
I
equivocado.
would have thought it was pretty obvious. The book was
No
about
te-
Evelyn.
Quería darle a duda, tío, y le he dado. Me parece que le he dado
Think you
a.
have some way to link me to McCaffrey?
It's nothing personal. I'm just doing my job. You understand that?
Va a darle a duda, ¿vale?
We're struggling
Porque-
for leads, Robbins. Did she know McCaffrey?
She idolized him.
Sabía que así me diría algo más. Le he dado a mentir equivocándome sin tener
Seems to peddle a revolutionary stance.
un algo para acusarle de que me está mintiendo, ¿entendéis? Entonces no he podido darle ahí.
See how it would appeal to down and outs like Evelyn.
Tenía que regular.
Thanks for
¿Veis?
your help,
Era
Mr.
duda.
Robbins.
Está bien. Está bien, está bien.
Hey, I'd like to make arrangements for the funeral.
Listo,
Get
perfecto.
in touch with Evelyn's mother.
Put in a call to the watch commander at Central Station, Mr. Robbins. He'll be trying to reach the next of kin.
Thanks. Get the guy, huh? Evelyn never hurt anybody.
Claro que no le ha hecho daño a nadie, seguramente. Hay mucho cabrón suelto en la vida. Vale, ahora creo que voy a ir a.
You're
¿Dónde
behind
era?
the wheel.
Claro, tenemos el bar. Tenemos. Creo que voy a ir primero al bar porque lo tenía de antes, ¿vale? La bolera es reciente, entonces vamos a ir al bar, ¿vale?
You can drive. And where exactly are we going?
Over here, Rusty.
Por aquí, Rusty.
Hold on, I'm coming.
A ver. El caso de crimen callejero no lo he hecho porque quiero ver también si se acumulan en el mapa, ¿vale? O si se borran o qué. Quiero verlo.
Drink, fellas.
Phelps, Galloway, homicide. We need to ask you some questions concerning Evelyn Summers.
I'm Walter Mensch. Evelyn Summers?
A ver el
What is it
gilipollas
now?
este.
You knew Evelyn?
As well as I wanted to know Evelyn.
Era un incordio, no hacía más que agarronar copas y nunca tenía dinero.
Drinks. Never had any money. She was in just a couple of nights ago.
Did she ever tell you where she was staying?
I don't know. I think she was living rough. She had that
Olía
kind of
raro,
schmuck
dice.
about her.
Who did she drink with?
A bunch of these guys. Ask around.
¿Con ese puede ser?
What's your name?
Grosvenor McCaffrey.
Ah, mira, está el
Mind if I ask
McCaffrey.
you some questions, Mr. McCaffrey?
I'm just a starving writer, detective. What do you want to ask about?
Evelyn Summers, and why she was found beaten and strangled in the rail depot on Santa Fe.
Okay.
I see your point.
No se ha extrañado mucho, ¿eh?
Know her. I can't say that I knew her. It was more like I was aware of her.
Do you have a criminal
Antecedente.
record, Mr. McCaffrey?
Nothing serious. I've had a few
Algunos
skirmishes.
encontronazos. Como no tengo pruebas, le voy a dar a dudas para que hable.
You want to save me some time, or do you want me to look up your file?
Industrial disputes, strikes, workers' rights, that kind of thing.
A regular fifth columnist. Nice to meet you, comrade.
Relación con la víctima.
You say you barely knew Evelyn?
Yes, that is correct.
Mentira. Si no, ¿por qué te tienen el libro,
You're lying,
cabrón?
McCaffrey. You look down your nose at Evelyn, but you knew her, and you have some idea of what happened.
I hope you're holding aces. I'm telling you again, I barely knew the woman.
Vale, y ahora es donde yo te voy a enseñar el libro. Claro, obviamente. Nervioso, hueputa. Otto.
Why would you lend her your book on metaphysics if you only knew her in passing? It was more than that. A Renaissance man like yourself lending his books to his acolytes.
She hounded me about that goddamn book, and then she lifts it from my apartment and lies to my face that she didn't take it, as if she could even comprehend any of it. I saw her go into a hotel with Tiernan last night.
Tiernan.
She had booze in a paper bag.
Con botellas en una bolsa de papel. Él es su hombre. ¡Ojo!
Thank you for the information.
Tiernan. ¿Quién es Tiernan? Vamos a la bolera, ¿eh? ¡Hasta luego!
You know the way. You can drive.
Yo creo que el Tiernan ese no tendrá que estar ahí. En la bolera. No sé. No tengo ni idea, la verdad. A ver. Ahora que está la radio sonando, quiero ver si ahora hay dos en vez de uno. Si ya no hay ninguno. Vale, tenemos uno aquí. Y ya está. Vale, pero es que yo no sé si este... No sé si debería de ir ahí. Lo voy a dejar, ¿vale? Este no lo voy a ir a hacer. No lo voy a ir a hacer porque... quiero ver si se acumulan o no.
11 King.
Vuelvan al central.
11 King, en route. Let's not keep the man waiting, Phelps.
Tú te callas y vas a donde yo te digo. Pero ¿por qué no me lleva a donde te he dicho, joder?
Stripped off me at the grand jury. Case was thrown out. Now the DA wants my head.
Captain is downstairs with Ray Pinker and Carruthers.
Bajo, ¿no?
Yeah, I'm thinking of moving up to a 45. I want to put him down in one round.
¿Qué cojones quiero ahora el gilipollas este? Me ha dado aquí venir pa' mierda, siempre. Normal.
What's this about, Captain?
Ray and Mal have some concerns over the Henry and Muller cases, which I don't want aired outside of this room.
The evidence is solid, Captain.
I agree, Rusty. It's just that corpses keep piling up.
Copycats.
I've been banging the same drum. But the notes and the lipstick messages.
Evelyn Summers, Cartel Classic Carmine. Each woman, same brand, same color.
Teresa Terrelson didn't have a lipstick message.
Technically, you're right, Rusty. She didn't have any lipstick, but she did have a message. We found it beneath her dress, scraped with a sharp stick.
What did it say?
You sure you want to know?
Ray?
As far as we can be sure, it said cunt BD.
That's one way of looking at it.
Looking at what?
Cunt is all about access stubs. You're married, so yours is mortgaged. Some of us like to pay by installments. This guy doesn't like to pay at all.
Why are you so angry, Mal?
Because I just had to fire one of my assistants. He was a friend of Jameson's. God knows what he might have been up to.
Captain, we have good leads in the Summers case, but it's up to you to decide how we proceed.
Keep this under your hat for now. And follow up on Evelyn Summers. I want daily reports.
Esa mierda me has hecho venir, de verdad.
Canary says they'll sing.
Tu
Got
puta
our
madre.
orders. Back to the Summers case. Get an address for McCaffrey. He'll have blown the bar. I'll meet you outside.
I want to make a homicide. I mean, you know you've made it if you got that desk.
Operator, give me R&I.
Que me veía la bolera, aunque me digan que el apartamento McCaffrey o su puta madre, me veía la bolera.
Cole Phelps, badge 1247.
How can I help, Detective?
I need an address for a Grosvenor McCaffrey.
Grosvenor McCaffrey. Apartment 6, 126 Yale Street, between Ord and Alpine.
Thanks, ma'am.
Apartamento McCaffrey, testigos, vale. Nos vamos a ir directo, ¿vale? Vamos a ir a la bolera primero.
You drive. I need to go over the case notes.
And where exactly are we going?
Puta bolera, cabrón.
Let me pose a question.
Depends. What's it got to do with?
Morals. Would it bother you to put the wrong person away?
Depends.
On what?
On whether anyone except the poor son of a bitch in the slammer ever found out.
Hello, Rusty. 2 on your usual lane?
Just.
I'm Detective Phelps. Homicide.
You must be new. What's your shoe size?
We're conducting an investigation, ma'am. Do you know the name Evelyn Summers?
Sounds like I should. Oh, maybe it could be Jimmy's friend.
Jimmy?
James Tiernan. He's a
Coloca el
pin
bolo.
setter. One day he introduced me to a lady after work. It stuck in my mind because she was much older, too old.
Qué abuela
for
más
him.
colleja, ¿eh?
Where can we find Jimmy, Florence?
He'll be hopping around the lanes toward the back.
Thanks, ma'am. Let's
Es
go get
aquel,
him.
¿no? Sí, sí, es aquel.
Would you recommend a special?
Tiernan! LAPD!
Mierda, tiene coche. Uf, y tiene un buen coche el hijo de puta, ¿eh? El mismo que utilizo yo. Cabronazo. Ah, bien, mira, este también está bien. No está mal, ¿eh?
What are you waiting for? Get after him. We might go faster if we weren't carrying the extra weight. These are flashy
Creo que es
cars to be
el,
parked
no es el
outside
mismo, es parecido.
The lanes attract a fast-living individual with money to burn.
or a middle-aged
Se ha borrado,
individual.
se le ha borrado el sombrero.
Keep it steady and I'll try to bust his
La
tire.
rueda, cabrón. La rueda. A la rueda, qué malo eres, tío, disparando.
Another runner. Well, at least we've got a suspect.
Why do they always run? I'm sure we've got the wrong person.
Ya llevo una rueda pinchada.
Homicide, but they always seem to land it.
Ya, cabrón.
Not airtight by any means. Hit him, Cole. Spin him out.
Dale que hago un trompo. ¿Y qué estoy haciendo, gilipollas?
Get him for reckless endangerment.
That's unless he runs into a wall and saves us all the trouble.
Pero si llevo una rueda pinchada, ¿cómo va a seguir así, hombre?
Be back in close.
Ya, ya, cabrón. Puta.
Fucking time.
Give it up, LAPD.
Vale, ese está detenido. Huye por la puta cara, echa a correr. Sin ni siquiera hablar conmigo, no lo entiendo. Lo mismo esconde otras cosas. Lo mismo si es el asesino, lo mismo... Sé yo, joder. Vamos a ir con este coche para no perdernos más pistas, ¿vale?
Can you drive to this one?
Vamos a ir al apartamento de McCaffrey.
Where are we headed?
Yo creo, ¿vale? A ver qué encontrásemos aquí. Por real, favor. Gracias. Gracias. Llévame. Hueputa. Estoy conduciendo yo más bien poco. Casi siempre me está llevando mi compi, ¿sabéis? Claro. Sí que lo prefiero. Apartamento de McCaffrey. Cafre. Vale, vamos a ver aquí. Pero bueno, gilipollas. ¿Quieres mirar esto? A ver en qué apartamento vive. No lo mira. Joder, follo. Está por aquí, ¿no? Se supone que es aquí en este edificio, pero no dice qué puerta es, ¿vale? Voy a tener que ir investigando. Puede ser que sea este.
Doesn't look like anybody's home.
Pues entramos. Vale, mira, para empezar aquí hay sangre. Y aquí está la media nota, la otra media nota, tío.
Torn from the letter we found beside the body. At the very least, I'd say it ties McCaffrey to the scene.
Esto lo relaciona directamente con el de este de asesinato, ¿vale? Vale, mira, aquí hay un desmontador. Marca. Con el ratón es bastante difícil de hacer también, ¿vale?
He said he was at home. He said he didn't know her. And we have the book.
Let's see Carruthers argue his way out of this one.
Vale. Y la
Is
camiseta.
that you, Grosvenor? Who are you guys? What are you doing in here?
We're from the LAPD, ma'am. Do you know where we might find McCaffrey?
I'm his neighbor. Is he in
¿Qué
trouble?
importa a ti, vieja de mierda, cotilla?
And in a hurry. Are you going to give me trouble?
He has a pigeon coop up on the roof. He spends his mornings up there when he's been drinking.
Vale.
How do we get up there?
Down the hall and up the stairs.
Vale.
Drunk and in
Por el
command
culo.
of a carrier pigeon.
Camiseta.
Surely we can write him up for that. A citation at least.
Camisa mancha de sangre. Algo, todo lo posible. Libro de El último bastión. No hay nada por ver, ¿vale? La cocina supongo que tampoco. Cocina pequeñita, ¿eh? Tío, quítate del medio, coño. Pesado. Y no.
Hey, isn't that the cop who solved the big case and got promoted?
Sí, soy un policía investigando un asesinato. Obviamente. Que tiene palomas, ¿no?
Grosvenor McCaffrey.
Pues nada, a correr detrás de él.
Sit down and we'll talk.
I'll go get our wheels.
Alarma, cabrón, o yo qué sé, o persigue rápido para hacer un placaje.
Fight the good fight.
Lock him up and throw away the key.
Puedo correr más, tío. Corre, cabrón. Oh, puta, corre mucho el tío, ¿Te crees que solo sabes parkour tú o qué? ¿Y polla? Ven aquí, cabrón. Ahí te gancho. ¡Toma! Yes. Ahora debo de ir a la comisaría porque tengo 2 detenidos.
We need to get downtown and wrap this thing up. It's got to be McCaffrey.
Claro.
Unless Tyranny set him up.
Yo, my compi.
I don't think that asshole Jameson could have done it, do you? Whoever did it. At least it wasn't that Dahlia fuck.
How do you know that McCaffrey didn't do the Dahlia?
We have a list of over 200 suspects. His name was never on it.
If you think the list is exhaustive, Rusty, who am I to argue?
Listen, let's just work the case at hand, shall we? Then we can sit down and put all the puzzle pieces together at a later date.
I'll hold you to that.
Vale. Vamos a ir a la comisaría. Empezamos con James Ternian, o como cojones se llamase ese. A ver en qué habitación está. De carajo.
You sure you can make it stick with one of these suspects, gentlemen?
It's either McCaffrey or Tiernan, sir. I think Jameson is an aberration.
All right. I'll deal with that degraded lunatic myself. He's got some fearful retribution coming. Tiernan isn't one, McCaffrey isn't two. I want a confession from one of them.
Vale, pues vamos a Tiernan a la 1 y a McAfee a la 2. Tiernan a la 1, que es aquí. ¿Me equivoco?
Why did you run, Tiernan?
I was the last one to see Evelyn that night. I knew you would think it was me.
Relación con la víctima.
Can you describe your relationship with Evelyn?
I barely knew Evelyn.
Mentira. Yo creo que es mentira, ¿eh? Podríamos acusarlo con el paradero de la víctima. Podríamos, ¿eh?
How can you possibly prove Evelyn and I were more than friends?
Yo no sé si usar esto. ¿Qué hago, chavales? Claro, es que este tío lo vio.
He says he saw you go into your hotel with Evelyn.
I met Evelyn at the public library. We would read for a while and then go for a drink. Last night we went back to my hotel room.
Tiene tabaco en el bolsillo.
I must have passed out. I woke up and she was gone.
What time was this?
Around midnight, maybe later.
And there's no one who can confirm this.
No, there isn't. I knew you wouldn't believe me.
Vale, ahí está acertado, ¿vale? Libro de la víctima encontrado. Vamos a mirarlo. Está como enfadado y como con ganas de llorar. Le tiembla el mentón si lo veis, ¿vale?
Aristotle's Metaphysics, the book that belonged to McCaffrey.
McCaffrey saw her looking at it once and laughed in her face.
And you're saying Evelyn stole it?
She wanted something of his.
Yo creo que es mentira. Yo creo que la robó hasta él, fíjate.
We either hang this on you or McCaffrey. You better give us something.
Well, McCaffrey's been in trouble with the law before. I mean, he always makes out it was some kind of labor dispute. But, you know, I'm not so sure.
You and Evelyn were drinking together last night, and she had no other place to stay.
I don't know what happened last night. I don't remember.
No se acuerda, tío. ¿Cómo no se va a acordar? Compraste alcohol, cabrón.
You're lying, Tiernan. You've been fighting with her. You fought and...
I'm not lying! She got up and left! That was it!
Mentiroso de mierda, asqueroso.
She left, but she came back. She bought you a quart of whiskey to make it up to you. She told the liquor store owner. You're in deep trouble, buddy.
She said she loved me. She wanted to care for me. But she would never stop talking about McCaffrey. McCaffrey was a writer, McCaffrey was a hero, McCaffrey cared for the little guy.
Did you kill her, Tiernan?
I might as well have. I kicked her
Ahora
out.
sí, la eché.
She had nowhere to go.
No tenía dónde ir. En cierto modo la echó y entonces pues la mataron. La abrieron borracha afuera. Acceso al arma homicida.
Do you own a car?
Vamos a ver, chavales.
No, I don't.
Have access to a lug wrench?
Se me está bajando la silla.
To clear jams in the
Ya
big
se bajó
setting
del
machines.
todo. Voy a subirlo ahora. Esta le vamos a dar duda. No tengo
Coroner's report says that Evelyn was killed with a
para
wrench.
acusarme.
I think you did it and then planted the evidence at McCaffrey's apartment for us to find.
We went to his apartment. McCaffrey was up on the roof. Evelyn stole the book. McCaffrey went crazy when he found out. He said he would put her out of her misery. He can be very cruel.
Vamos a dejar el interrogatorio por ahora. Hay que investigar al otro.
Evelyn was missing a ring from her right hand.
That's strange. She always wore it. Big black circular disc with a white E in the middle.
Me han dado otro traje, chaval. Eso me lo pongo yo ahora mismo.
A present from the prop department at her old movie studio.
We're going to talk to McCaffrey. You need to think about what you've told us, Tiernan. You're not in the clear.
Lo voy a poner ahora. ¿Viste? Al menos verlo. Uf. Es el que me han dado. Me lo voy a poner. Vale, ahora vamos a la sala 2. A la sala 2. Acusa al que acuse, se lo van a llevar detenido. Así que tengo que saber tenerlo claro para acusar a uno o a otro. ¿Vale?
Touché, detective. Let's see where this takes us.
Pues McCaffrey, en tu casa había cositas.
Evelyn died sometime around midnight. Remind me, where were you?
I was at home, writing. I'm working on a manuscript.
De hecho, sí, con las cejas y todo, como dice. Otra vez, otra vez. Está nervioso. Está mintiendo, loco. Aparte, tenemos la carta rota en su casa. Voy a acusar de eso, ¿vale? Para que hable.
And what do you have that proves I was there?
Pues tiene media carta rota. Carta rota, sí, era, ¿no? Sí, tiene la media carta rota hasta en tu casa.
Augusta Summers' last correspondence with her daughter.
What are you talking about?
After you were done beating Evelyn, you searched her and found her mother's letter. That old lady's anguish amused you.
I know nothing about a letter or Evelyn's goddamn mother.
So what was it doing on your writing desk?
I don't know, but if I didn't put it there, somebody else did. Try exercising your powers of deduction on that.
No sé, me parece muy arrogante el gilipollas este, ¿vale? No sé. Acceso al desmontador.
We found the lug wrench that Evelyn was battered with in your apartment, and the note from her mother, and your blood-stained clothing. We have you cold, McCaffrey.
You think if I could be bothered to murder Evelyn Summers, I would be stupid enough to leave the evidence in my apartment?
Pues yo le voy a dar mentira porque no me lo creo nada.
I don't believe you, Grosvenor. The evidence says that you killed her.
You can prove that I wanted to kill Evelyn?
La acusación de Tiernan.
Tiernan is prepared to testify that you threatened Evelyn's life in his presence.
Self-preservation. That's understandable. Okay, I'll level with you. Tiernan killed Evelyn. He came to me for help. I listened to him, and he explained why he did it.
Tiernan went to you for help. You expect me to buy that?
That's how it went down. I told him he made a terrible mistake, but he would be throwing his life away if he went to the cops. I took his things and told him I would dispose of them.
But you didn't.
Speak to Tiernan. He'll give it up.
Me ha estallado la cabeza. Qué putada eso, Putada.
Operator, give me dispatch.
Putting you through now.
Phelps, badge 1247.
How could I help, Detective?
I need the jacket on a Grosvenor McCaffrey.
Just a moment, Detective. McCaffrey was formerly under surveillance by the Red Squad. Convictions for petty theft. Dishonorable discharge from the Army during training at Syracuse. Assault on a local woman. Says he almost beat the woman to death.
Thank you.
Tiene antecedentes McCaffrey, Vamos a investigar otra vez a Tiernan este de los cojones. O ¿cómo se llame? Sí, Tiernan era, ¿no? Ya.
You spoken to McCaffrey? I can go.
Se me está haciendo muy difícil, De verdad que se me está haciendo muy difícil este caso,
It's all been cleared. Not quite. We have one more question we need to ask, James. Then I think we will be done.
Sure.
Vale.
Go ahead.
Acontecimientos antes del asesinato. Vale.
So Evelyn passed out, and you walked out. What happened next?
I woke up in the morning.
Me desperté por la mañana.
Very hungover.
Con mucha resaca.
I thought Evelyn would have
Pensaba
come back.
que Evelyn habría vuelto. Y le vamos a dar la mentira y le vamos a decir la acusación de McCaffrey. Chaval.
I know you're lying, James. You went out looking for her. Tell me what really happened.
I don't know what you're talking about. How can you say I wasn't in that hotel room?
Porque tenemos la acusación de McCaffrey que te acaba de hacer.
You wound up at McCaffrey's. You were still incredibly drunk. You passed out on his floor. It's time to tell me what really happened.
McCaffrey woke me up
Mhm.
the next morning, and he showed me the lug wrench and the letter and the box,
Sí.
and he said I came in with him last night. He said that I killed Evelyn,
El mató a Evelyn. Yo creo que ha sido el McCaffrey.
and that it was all over the radio, and that he would protect me. And I don't know, Detective, for the life of me, I can't remember a goddamn thing. And I was angry with her. Really angry. I could have done it.
Yo creo que este no ha sido el chaval. Ha sido el otro. Es muy manipulador,
It wasn't me.
Oye. Vamos a ir a por McCaffrey otra vez.
Wait here. You were in the war?
Yes, I was. Seeing the things that I saw, it changes a man.
Parece que te has transformado,
Came
hijo de
back here
puta.
determined to change things. All I wanted was a pen and an opportunity to speak out.
You told us before that you had only minor run-ins with the police. You didn't mention petty theft.
I've never been in trouble for violence. That's the salient point here, isn't it?
Falso, cabrón, falso. Dice que no se ha visto envuelto en ningún caso de violencia y mató a la tía esa casi a golpe. O sea, casi mata a esa tía. No, tío. Te voy a acusar a ti, cabrón.
We know all about you and your dishonorable discharge, beating some poor woman near to death in Syracuse. You've never been in combat, McCaffrey. Your whole life is a fraud.
She was a goddamn peasant whore. She tried to steal from my wallet. I could have fought for this country. I could have.
You beat her because she stole from you, because she tried to outsmart you.
The ignorant audacity of the bitch. What is a man supposed to do? Sit there and take
Ha
it?
sido este.
How is a man supposed to call himself a man?
And Evelyn Summers, a poor, drunken nobody, stole your book.
And she got what was coming to her.
Y recibió su merecido. No hace falta más nada. Ha sido el hijo de puta este. Vamos a acusar a este.
Grosvenor McCaffrey, I'm charging you with the murder of Evelyn Summers. She was a sad lady who never hurt anyone except herself. I hope God finds a way to forgive you.
Congratulations, boys, you bagged the fine catch.
Joder, no iba a hacer el lío el cabrón, ¿eh?
Now, I want you to put this business about a repeat offender out of your mind. This McCaffrey creature shows no remorse, and neither will the grand jury. You would have to walk a long mile to find a better candidate for an unmarked plot in the prison graveyard.
Bien, bien ahí, Creo que este caso sí es 5 estrellas, No estoy seguro, oye, pero... Sí, joder, sí, 5 estrellas, bien. Puede escribir una reveladora memoria desde su celda en el corredor de la muerte. Vale, otra imagen aquí de la guerra. Vamos a vernos. Perdimos la mayoría de los hombres.
That medic is either crazy or the bravest man alive. Then we rally with the first, then try for the Namboos. It's here to the left. To the right, it goes right through a pass with 2 Namboos and infilade. Mate, we can lose everyone. Lieutenant, get back off this fucking bridge. They'll start walking the mortars back to their own positions. We only have minutes. I'm in charge here, Sergeant. Get your men off the bridge, Lieutenant. What's your unit, Sergeant? We don't have time for this, Lieutenant. What's your unit, Sergeant? I company 22nd Marines, Lieutenant, and we just saved your ass by fording the river. My orders are to reconnoiter the...
¿Cómo impresiona eso?
Point is now moot. You have 10 men left. My orders are to save what's left. Move out.
Bien. Joder, bien ahí, Se revela con un rango superior salvando hombres, realmente. Vale, chicos. Hemos visto aquí los asesinatos de la luna o algo así, ¿vale? Obviamente no vamos a hacerlo ya. Porque, como comprenderéis, es tarde, he hecho unos cuantos casos y lo que quiero personalmente, pues, es dividir también en varios streams, ¿vale? En varios directos, aparte que llevo 3 horas y 10 de directo, lo cual, pues, estoy ya que grito de locura, básicamente, ¿vale? Entonces, dicho esto, lo voy a dejar por aquí, tío. Porque estoy ya un poco agotado. Mentalmente tengo los ojos cansados y la mente también un poco. Así que nada, chavales. Un besito y nos vemos mañana. Hasta luego. Chao, chao.